battlefield, either on their territory or on other territories. This is how I'll answer this question. Those who are pumping Ukraine with weapons, they need to understand that they have responsibility for their actions. And also those who are encouraging the flow of mercenaries to Ukraine in order to fight in accordance with those traditions of ultra-radical traditions of the battalions that are active on the Ukrainian side.
You've said that it's for the Ukrainian
CNBC.
But how can you possibly justify the bombing of a maternity ward and a children's hospital? Do you agree with President Zelensky that that is an atrocity? To target pregnant mothers and children is in fact an atrocity. And also for the Russian people themselves, today Russia faces a $40 billion default. That's worse than we've seen the Russian economy since 1917 and the Bolshevik Revolution. How do you justify it to the people at home that you've wrecked their economy for an invasion that, frankly, the rest of the world does not believe should be happening? Thank you, sir.
Спасибо большое. Ну, про родильный дом не в первый раз мы видим патетические вскрики по поводу так называемых зверств, которые чинят российские вооруженные силы.
Thank you very much. As for the maternity ward, it's not for the first time that we see the shouting in relation to so-called atrocities of the Russian military. On the 7th of March, 3 days ago, 7th or 6th of March, can't remember, at the United Nations Security Council, our delegation presented the facts that this maternity ward had been captured by Azov battalion a long time ago and other radicals. All mothers, all pregnant ladies were taken out of that building, and this was a base of the ultra-radicals Azov. This information had been passed 3 days ago, and so make your own conclusions how the public opinion is being manipulated in the whole world. And I saw these reports today and of your channel and other Western media. They're very emotional, but unfortunately the second or the other side of any situation that allows us to create an objective picture never gets quite that much of attention. As for the state of economy of Russian Federation, we will take care about that ourselves. President is dealing with this, our government is dealing with this. We have just it became clearer again for us, and you say that we're using various terms to justify what we're doing in Ukraine. We attracted people's attention to the fact that Ukraine is being made into an anti-Russia state. And when the West, starting from the 2000s, they required Ukrainians to make their mind whether they are with the West or with the Russia. And what sort of Western values are these when they are forced to make that choice? And we saw these manipulations when pro-Western candidates was at the last place when it was, I think, in 2009, when in violation of Ukrainian constitution, West has forced Ukraine to make a decision to do to run a third round of elections. And at that time, nobody was threatening to anybody, but constantly they were trying to make a pro-Western experimental tool. And ultimately, when the NATO began to require Ukraine to have complete freedom to join the bloc, when military bases were being created, when they started to discuss placing rockets that would threaten the territory of Russia. And as we find out now, they've got biological weaponry laboratories that were being active on that territory. And when they started talking about canceling the non-nuclear status of the country, we asked our Western partners to agree security principles on the territory of Europe, and we were told, we can discuss anything, but don't even touch the topic of NATO expansion. And NATO is not threatening you, they said. How is it possible that NATO is determining the status of our security and what is threatening us and what is not? So we are not interested in trying to justify our actions in Ukraine. We presented these actions in a very clear way. We do not want a militarized Ukraine. Without any NATO, you could put American systems which would keep our territory in crosshairs. We don't want to keep that tendency of creation of neo-Nazi state in Ukraine with the Nazi traditions, when the battalions with SS symbols are marching and are being welcomed by the president, and many other things, when these military are being trained to conduct terrorist activity. In fact, we want Ukraine to be neutral. Putin said many times that, insisting on non-expansion of NATO, we do not want to remove security from Ukraine. We are prepared to discuss Ukrainian security together with guarantees of security of European countries and also Russia. And judging on the statements of Zelensky, now this understanding is coming through, and that is giving us some optimism. And as for our economic problems, we will deal with them. We managed to deal with all these difficulties during all stages of our history. But this time, I assure you, we will come out of this crisis in a completely, with a completely healthy consciousness, and we will not have any illusions that West could be a reliable partner. We will not have any illusions that West can betray you at any moment, can betray anybody, and can betray its own values. Where it's never been seen before that you can just flick the fingers and recall the right to property, private property. And you see that all these values, fundamental values, Western values, have been violated by just taking private property. And we will do everything possible not to depend on the West in those areas of our life which are essential for our people. Channel 1.
Channel 1. Сделанных накануне ваших переговоров сегодняшних, замглавы офиса президента говорит, готова к дипломатическому регулированию, но единственные серьезные переговоры, которые могут быть проведены с
Can you speak into the microphone? Konstantin Panushkin, I would like to cite one of the latest statements from Kiev. Deputy Chief of Staff of President is prepared for diplomatic settlement, but the only negotiations possible between the two countries is the negotiation at the level of the presidents. Do you think it would make sense to conduct negotiations at the level of the presidents? I think it's very clear to everyone. President Putin never refuses personal contact, but we don't want these contacts to be arranged just for its own sake. We talked about this, by the way, with Mr. Kuleba. Mr. Kuleba highlighted this point that you are raising now, and I reminded him that we are always for meetings in person if we can achieve some added value and if we can resolve the problem. And the Ukrainian government, over the last few years after the anti-constitutional coup, they prefer meetings for the sake of meetings. They prefer to simulate specific agreements through these new contacts with cameras. And you remember these Minsk agreements were completely blocked by the Kiev regime when Zelensky constantly kept saying, let's meet, let's finally meet. And when we reminded our Ukrainian colleagues that in December 2019 there was a Normandy format summit and all the decisions were to be implemented by Kiev and none of them was implemented, they began again repeating the need to meet in person and then we will agree. And then why did we have to meet in Paris if in order to implement the decisions we need to run another summit? So this manner of trying to replace the essence of any problem with this appearances. Well, we need to have a summit, and then we need to invite the British, the Polish, the Americans, and then the Turkish. And now they're trying to do the parallel group of contacts where they would invite Germans and French. They are just a fountain of initiatives, but all of them are explained in a very simple way. They want to replace the actions they need to implement with some show effects. So we did confirm that Putin is not refusing to meet with Zelensky, and at some point that need will be there. But in order for this to happen, we need to do some preliminary work, which is being conducted using Belarus track. We have 3 rounds. We presented our offers, and the Ukrainian side promised to come back to us with the answers. We've got Ukrainian media, public TV of Ukraine. Wherever Russia enters with the attempt to denazify, when you came to Crimea, there were some kidnappings in Tatar groups, but in Azov, in the south, one of the ladies had been kidnapped, Ms. Ibrahimova. So you are moving to another level. Over the last 8 years, we did not kidnap any women. What would you say to this? These are facts. So this is my region, Melitopol, where I grew up. You said that these are facts, but I think significantly there's another word starting with F, which is fakes. And internet and the airwaves have been filled up with these fakes. I did not know about this alleged story about the kidnapping of a public representative, but the manners that the Kiev regime is famous with. Now, Shevchenko disappeared yesterday, I understand. Kiev was just assassinated, and they say he was assassinated by the security services of Ukraine because of the treason, and then they said there were some kind of other problems. So if we deal with all these individual stories, we will find lots of very shocking facts. But if you take one episode and if you just try to agitate public opinion on that basis, including here in Turkey, in order to establish the anti-Russian policy, this is again trying to replace real serious conversation with these show effects. And I have not heard about this particular case. You can give me all sorts of names and surnames and so on. I wanted to say that I will inquire, but I have not heard about this. I heard about Shevchenko, which disappeared in Kiev, and I heard about... I'm sorry, this is not an interview, this is a press conference. We need to allow the Italian agency to... I think you have been filmed already, and you'll be shown very clearly on your own TV. You've achieved your goal now. Our Italian colleagues, please, if we can give the microphone.
Your Excellency, thank you very much. I have
Вы же Sky News. Мы же говорили про итальянское агентство
We talked
Archie,
about
да? Это вы.
Archie,
Пожалуйста, дайте
the
микрофон.
Italian
Пожалуйста.
agency.
Спасибо.
Many thanks.
Вот, Мария, здесь демократия.
Ну да, они сейчас
This is
договорятся,
democracy,
какой
right?
вопрос получше
Вырывает
задать.
микрофон и все.
Those who want, they just take the mic.
sorry. There are some voices about the use of biological weapons during the attack. What can you say about that? Thank you.
Я только что уже сказал,
I talked about this. I mentioned that we are very concerned. All this information that came to light, that Pentagon has created a few dozens of biological laboratories on the Ukrainian territory as part of their program of creating these laboratories all over the world in violation of the Convention on Prohibition of Biochemical Weapons. And we did send an inquiry to requiring explanations. And the fact that they used their biological weapons, I don't have any facts to that, but I'd like to... But it's quite clear that this is ethnically oriented development of biological weapons, and this was the goal of these laboratories.
Микрофон, пожалуйста, известие.
Известия, microphone.
Сергей Викторович, США заявляют открыто, что
United States openly stating that they told their ambassadors to persuade other countries to join sanctions. Did you instruct your own ambassadors to do the same? This isolation of the West, is it in their own heads? We are briefing our ambassadors in great detail. We talk about facts in relation to one situation or another situation, and our ambassadors are conveying this information to the powers of the country where they work, running around the world and trying to force independent sovereign countries, members of UN, to execute the order of the bigger brother. This is not in our traditions. We are very polite people, and Americans are not hiding the fact that they are demanding from Turkey, from India, Egypt, Southeast Asia, and even China. From China, they are requiring to join the sanctions. This sort of disrespect to great civilizations, to great countries, I could not even imagine that. But you can see that for Americans, there are no forbidden things, and we are not engaging in such work. Sky News. Sky News.
Спасибо.
А вон Sky News.
А это итальянский Sky News, а это...
This is Italian Sky News. This is the original one.
Dominic Wackhorn, Sky News in the UK. Thank you for taking my question. You said some time ago that Russia had no intention to invade Ukraine. I think today you said that Russia did not invade Ukraine, when it clearly has. You've also said that Russia would not hurt civilians, and thousands have been hurt, their homes destroyed, and it seems now hospitals being attacked. Why should the Ukrainians take you seriously, with all due respect? Why should they believe a word you say and the rest of the world?
As for the hospital and maternity wards, I talked about this, but you didn't listen to this, and you're not going to show this. And nobody will say that 3 days ago at the Security Council of the United Nations, we explained what happened to that maternity ward. As for the statements, who is going to do what and who is not going to do what, until the last moment, we wanted to resolve the matter in a diplomatic way. We presented an extensive document on our bilateral agreement with the US and also NATO, and also covered all the questions on European security, including all countries on the continent, including Ukraine. We were told that Ukraine is ours, and we will deal with Ukraine, and we will resolve the future of Ukraine. And we proposed we proposed not creating any threats on the ground in Ukraine to the Russian Federation. And Putin explained very clearly why he took that decision to conduct this special military operation. And even if you're not allowed to talk to your listeners about this, you could yourself read this document and understand our logic. It's very clearly explained. We want a Ukraine which will be friendly, demilitarized Ukraine, which would not create any threats for creating a Nazi state, Ukraine where there would be a Russian culture and language, and the Orthodox Church is not forbidden, is not banned. All of that was reflected in their laws, and all our calls, all our attempts to contact with our Western colleagues to influence the Ukrainians on this, they failed. And when the Ukraine passed a law where only Ukrainian is fit for use on the territory of their territory, and all other languages were discriminated against in school, in other universities, and Hungary and Bulgaria started to express their discontent. And Ukraine then made an exception in a very elegant way, exception out of this law for European Union languages, and only Russian was left as a discriminated language. And the West went quiet. It's just...
Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
Money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
We serve a miracle working God. There is nothing too hard for him.
Join Prophet Ajimai Prempe for this year's double portion London Summit at the London Marriott Hotel, Maidavale, London, NW6 5RP from Friday 11th March through to Sunday 13th. Details are as follows. Friday 11th March 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday 12th of March 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday 13th of March 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come and experience the prophetic like never before and hear the word of the Lord for your life. Please call 077-60-276-394 or visit www.prophetprempe.org for more details.
A miracle working God. He's a miracle working God.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Though your heart is aching, smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile. If you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and the Morning Show.
say it go happen, as God say it go do then if I no say it go happen, it go happen, it go happen. If I no say it go happen, as God say it go do then if I no say, everybody say it go happen, it go happen. Certainly, if I no say it go happen, as God say it go do then if I no say it go happen, it go happen, it go happen, it go happen. If I no say it go happen, yeah, as God say it go do one more time. It go happen, it go happen, it go happen. If I no say it go happen, everybody, as God say it go do then if I no say it go happen, it go happen, it go happen. Certainly, if I no say it go happen, yeah, as God say it go do if I no say it go happen. Some trust in horses, others trust in chariots, but we have your name, oh Lord. Have faith in God, lean not on your own.
Welcome. This is Starr Radio UK.
Some trust in horses, others trust in chariots, but we have your name, oh Lord. Have faith in God, lean not on your own understanding.
Well, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, on a Thursday edition of the morning show. Today is the 10th day of the month of March, the year 2022. The time now exactement 10:40. And that is being played in the background by Nana Manuel. It go happen. So whatever you might be going through, whatever the challenges might be, that seems unsurmountable, I want you to be rest assured, one thing for sure, is either that particular problem learns to goes away, or it will have to learn to live with you, or you live with it. So you might get a grace to go with it. But whatever it is, I want to welcome you all to the Thursday edition of the morning show. Of course, I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
So from now till 1 o'clock, when the curtains are brought down for the end of the program, I'm going to be your captain. Buckle up. If you are sitting, sit very comfortably. You are standing, hold on to something. Of course, it does get bumpy at times. However, you are rest assured of one thing: getting you to your destination. But let me say good morning to my colleagues, Mr. Frank Davis, Mr. Olayomi, Kojo D, Felix, all the way in Aberdeen, Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin. And all you wonderful listeners in the UK, in the US, those of you in the Caribbean and South American area, those of you in Europe, those of you in Asia, those of you in Australia, those of you on the African continent, especially those of you in Nigeria, Ghana, Uganda, Kenya, South Africa. We salute you all. And I say, welcome to the show once again. It go happen.
It go happen, it go happen. If I no say it go happen, as God say it go do.
Okay, for the sake of those who might have joined us for the first time, this is how the program goes on Thursdays. I'm going to bring you the quote for the day. The word forecast will follow suit. Then the travel updates will continue. We'll then continue to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. Exactement at 11 o'clock, we'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who will be bringing you updates from Nigeria. I hope you enjoyed the Niger voices yesterday, but he'll be bringing you more on what is happening today. Okay, then after that, we continue to look at the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. From archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar, as I say all the time, it's making the headlines. Why not? We're going to be touching on it. Then at 12 o'clock, the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions. But before then, if you want to post your comments or anything on our broadcast, post it on our Facebook page, and I promise you, I'm going to read that.
Have faith in God.
Okay, so then, at 1 o'clock exactly, the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. So in a gist, that's what's going to be happening today. Stay tuned. Enjoy the show, or enjoy the ride.
Have faith in God. Lean not on your own understanding.
Okay, let's move on then.
Have faith in God. Lean not on your own understanding. 1, 2, everybody say it go happen.
But let me say a massive massive happy birthday to the apostle himself, Brother HP, Apostle Henry Bruce of Bible Line Family Ministries. It is your big day today, it's your birthday, and I say happy birthday, Papa. We pray that the heavens will be opened unto you and all. Somebody say, more grace, more grace. May God continue to bless you, shower more blessings upon you, more grace to lead this generation to God. And to every one of you also celebrating your birthday today, I salute you all. I say happy birthday to you across the globe. Okay, so the quote for today says, if God himself is not passive and even cares about the sparrows as well as the number of hairs of every human being, what makes you think you should be passive? So you are either in it or you are out of it. What about that? Okay, that's by way of the quote for today. Now let's move on straight to the word of front.
Some trust in horses, others trust in chariots, but we have your name, oh Lord. Have faith in God, lean not on your own understanding.
Okay, so the weather forecast for you today.
Some trust in horses, others trust in chariots, but we have your name, oh
Lord. For the UK front, I will be experiencing a bit of a mild weather here and there. But for London and the southeast of England, I will be rather cloudy for most, with the odd spot of rain around, and drier and brighter for Northern Ireland, however, and sunshine developing from western Scotland and southeastern England at times. And tonight, cloud will move across most areas with the spells of rain turning more frequent for western Britain. Drier elsewhere, however, by dawn rain will arrive in the southwest, turning windy. Well, Starr Radio UK. Well, when it comes to the southeast, the temperature is going to be 14 degrees, otherwise it's going to be 9 degrees. UV level is going to be low, pollution is going to be low. Sunset 15, 17, 56, and sunrise for tomorrow morning 06, 27 hours. So in a nutshell, that is how the weather is going to be for you today. Welcome to the show once again. Okay, now let's move on straight to the travel updates for you. That'll be after this quick commercial break. Stay tuned, don't you go away.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Check it out. Keep your eyes on the road. This is Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. I'll keep you navigated, I promise I'll bond on your travel this morning here in the UK, especially in London, on the underground. Apart from the northern line that is partly closed, all the others have got good service there. A bit of details there from Moorgate and Kennington, saying the upgrade where that is going on. London Bridge, Barrow, Elephant and Castle and Kennington. And from Mondays to Friday, there are new routes that you can use the bus route 733 there for you. Okay, moving on straight to other means of transport. London Overground, TFL Rail, DLR, London Tramlink have all got good service. But keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. I'll keep you navigated, I promise. Our bond. I'm moving on straight to the river bus. Apart from the Woolwich Ferry that is got reduced service, all the others have got good service. I'll keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. I'll keep you navigated, I promise. Our bond. The Starr Radio travel update comes your way every weekday from 10:40. It's now exactly 10:48, and we are so on the move. Now, on the National Rail this morning, Gatwick Express and Great Northern have got special service. London North Eastern Railway, minor delays, Thameslink, special service there as well. I'm moving on to the final segment of the travel update. That's major roads in London. This is what is going on there as well. Now, A10 A2, A316, A4, Central London Red routes have all got closures on those routes, so check before you leave. Now A13 has got serious delays, A21 serious delays there as well. And as I will say all the time, well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 9 minutes to the top of the hour at a time. It is now time for Global Trotting. Well, at 11 o'clock exactly, we have Mr. Olayomi Kweke who will be bringing you updates from Nigeria about some of the stories that we're going to be looking at this morning. The father of Miss Oluwabamisi Ayawola. Okay, the 22-year-old lady who was missing on February 26 in a Lagos bus rapid transit and later found dead, Mr. Joseph said he had not been himself since the demise. Of course, he would never be. Our bandits who appeared like 250 in number attacked my convoy. Who is speaking? The Kebbi Deputy Governor. And terror group ISWAP releases photos of its Islamic police Hishba destroying marijuana in Nigeria. This and a lot more going to be coming your way from Niger. It's at that 11 o'clock. But let's look at some of the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world.
Have faith in God. Lean not on your own understanding. I take it again. Some trusting horses. I just trust it.
Okay, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Have faith in God. Lean not on your own understanding. One more time, hey.
Okay, from home here, Child Among Ukraine Hospital. What distraction? Let me put it that way, for lack of words. Now, Roman Abramovich sanctioned by UK. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Going to be bringing you more details on that. Okay, so the story says Chelsea FC owner Roman Abramovich, one of 7 oligarchs sanctioned by the UK government. And the Ukrainians will be able to apply online for UK visas from Tuesday. Those who with passport can apply virtually and give their biometric details in the UK. And some of the developments there. And fuel price jump will hit food bills. Industry says shops and food distributors say soaring fuel prices will push up food bills, of course. arrested in Glasgow. The bizarre case of a man arrested in Glasgow hospital accused by the US of being a fugitive. Who is this man? Is this another Juliana song? Well, we'll be bringing you more on that front. The era of complacency is over, says Foreign Secretary Liz Truss. And then damning report details fatal rail crash failures in northeastern Scotland, Orkney. Well. When it comes to the world front, the story is making the headlines there. Ukraine and Russia hold talks as war rages on. The talks in Turkey come after Kiev accused Moscow of a war crime for bombing a children's hospital and a maternity unit. Well, the Russians are saying that, you know what? Yeah, we 3 days ago we addressed this issue in the UN, saying that, well, they are accusing us of destroying a hospital already, and they are saying that, well, that hospital has been evacuated, and those who were there were insurgents, Ukrainian insurgents who were there, so they were fighting them. That's why they bombed the place. Well, where the publicity stunts go on, the media war. Okie Now, when it comes to other stories making the round, Russia could launch chemical attack. That's what the White House is saying. The White House is saying that false claims about chemical weapon development are a Russian ploy to justify more attacks, says Jen Psaki. And a Black Panther director mistaken for a bank robber. Interesting. You know what? Now it says that Ryan Coogler was arrested trying to withdraw money from his own bank account in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm going to bring you more on that, you know. If you're a black person, nothing good is supposed to come your way. Well. If you have anything good, they think, he might have been involved in some dodgy stuff. Oh my goodness. Now oil prices due to fears over Russia. Oil prices rises due to fears over Russian shortfall. There is confusion over whether major oil producers will help to plug a gap in supplies from Russia. What can Ghana do? What can Nigeria do? And what can the big shoes, the big hooks do in that front as well? And the 20th hijacker of the 9/11 been sent back to Saudi Arabia. Mohammed Al-Qahtani, who is mentally ill, had been held at Guantanamo Bay for 20 years. There are some stories making the rounds.
Some trust in horses, others trust in chariots.
But let's now move on to Africa, where it's all unfolding. Cases surge in Nigeria as 60 Ukraine returnees test positive. You know, it was only the day before yesterday I was talking about the fact that it looks like we've put the COVID on the back burner, and with the way people are mingling and everything, not taking any precautions, but at least putting on face masks. Somebody tell you that in the midst of where people have to be fleeing, do you think face masks is anything that they think about? Or COVID? Well, COVID can kill, but if you are killed by war or bombings, how does that even compare, you know? Then the Ghanaian president did say in the past when he was a candidate, say, all die be die. All right then. Now, Egypt has announced the country is to diversify its sources of wheat, and the Kenyan president Uhuru Kenyatta calls for the lifting of sanctions on Zimbabwe. Now, Zambian students stranded in Ukraine return home, and Nigerians take a herbal remedies amid soaring prices of food and medicines. You know, if our health sectors is actually developed the way it's supposed to be, do you think that any of our people will want to be taking some concoctions that they normally take, which we don't know how it has been tested, stuff like that? It's not gone through the proper rigorous checks to make sure that they are potent enough. But people have to fall on that because they don't have the means to support themselves when it comes to health. Well, I wasn't kidnapped. The Kebbi deputy governor is saying. Well, we'll bring you more details on that in a moment. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. In Ghana, of course. Well, if the Speaker of Parliament is not in, whoever sits in is supposed to be a Speaker of Parliament, right? Acting or whatever it is. Now, when it comes to voting, they're not supposed to participate because they are then known as the referees. However, well, maybe the judges have a different way of reading and looking into things. They are the interpreters of the Constitution, right? Okay, so they're saying Supreme Court rules that deputy speakers can vote whilst presiding. The minority caucus strongly disagree with ruling. Court ruling strikes out portions of Parliament's standing orders. Well, we'll be bringing you more on that front. It's all from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Is it all just a ploy to pass the e-levy? But still, there's a shortfall. Are they going to get Adjoa Safo to come into Parliament to help to boost their numbers? Well, we'll be looking more into those stories. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And let me say good morning to Amayo. Amayo, good morning to you. Hope you are doing very, very well, sir.
Some trusting horses, others trust.
And Baka Vomawo, not cooperating with investigations, refused his bail request. The Attorney General to High Court. Really?
I take it again. Some trusting horses, others trusting chariots, but we have your name, oh Lord.
Okay, one other story that I'll be bringing your way.
Faith in God, lean not on your own understanding.
But don't you worry, during the course of the program, I'll be bringing your way. The South area.
Faith in God.
What is going to happen to them? They don't have no representative in Parliament. Here on. My goodness. Okay, this is a lot more going to be coming your way. We'll be having Mr. Olayomi Kojo joining in a few moments. But enjoy the rest of the music and I'll be with you. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only Archie. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
It doesn't matter what you're going through. Hold on. It doesn't matter what you're going through. Trust in God. And you are fighting for it, I will tell you to continue to stand up and do it. Stand up and be counted, because whatever you believe in, some way, somehow, that's come to pass. But someone will tell you that it's not everything that comes to pass. But hey, be rest assured, if you can see it, you will make it. Alright then, it's now gone 3 minutes past the top of the hour. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
So it's now time for us to have the one and only Mr. Olayomi Koiki in the house, where he's all geared up, ready to fire on all cylinders. And let me say good morning to you, Yomi.
Well, it is a very good morning to you back in the studio. It is coming up to 4 minutes past 11, the 10th of the March, 2022. And we welcome again to all our listeners from around the globe. It is Starr Radio UK.
How are you doing, sir?
Well, as usual, we just have to give glory to the Creator that we're still alive. And the most important thing is that we're here to serve the community as we do, just as we do yesterday on the Niger Voices. Like I always say, you will always join me again with a great team that gives you the morning show on Starr Radio UK, and we're back again this morning.
Yes, that is a lovely one. Now, a quick one for those of just a teaser for those who missed the Niger Voices. Yeah, what do you have for them?
Well, it is not a program of a show that you want to miss. It comes up every Wednesday at exactly 6 p.m. local time here in London till about 8 p.m. And we do discuss everything that is pertaining to Nigeria. And those that are now also saying that Nigeria doesn't seem to be stable, and that means it's time to exit it. So the focus point in the last 2 weeks has been, do we say 2023 general election, restructuring, or the argument is, should we come all the way back again and reveal what actually is Nigeria and who is actually a Nigerian? Because a lot of people are now looking back to say, we are the indigenous people, we are not Nigerians. All this conversation comes on air, and that, like I said, we are just now a countdown to 333 days as the Starr Radio time check in terms of the 2023 election, whether that will come up or not. But like I said here, it is 337 days, rather 12 hours 54 minutes, as the conversation gets very heated every Wednesday. You might want to join us again next week Wednesday.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Anthony Adedeji, let me say massive good morning to you as well. And what Amayo, he says that, well, you know what, Nigeria is not working. Period. He thinks that it's not working, so there's no need to discuss nothing about Nigeria.
Yeah, what Professor says here, and I quote, Ghana is moving to the world map. Ghana is doing much better. That is coming from our professor on this part of the globe, where they say they can hear us loud and clear. The music is too loud. It will be more charming if it is playing softly underneath.
Oh, okay. We will make sure that the music comes softly underneath. At the moment, there's no music playing though. Okay. Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Updates from Nigeria from Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Okay, Yomi. Okay,
seconds, and I'll be back on just 30 seconds.
All right,
and
then.
I'll be back on
All right, then. Well, whilst we wait for Yomi to get back on, well, some of the discussion that we're going to be having is pertaining to this young lady, 22-year-old, who boarded a public transport, okay, a state-owned transport, and then happened to lose her life days after. And why the culprit is who? The driver. So the question is, how secured are women, especially a couple of days ago when we celebrated International Women's Day. Now, how secured are women in our part of the world? Here, we have lots of rights, though even here they still complain that they've not gotten it all, which we all agree there are some areas that needs to be addressed. However, when it comes to Africa, it comes to Nigeria, it comes to Ghana, it comes to, what are we doing? What exactly is happening there? So this man is saying that, look, I've never ever been the same since my daughter passed away after being kidnapped. Whether she was raped or what exactly took place? What does this man, the driver who kidnapped this lady, what was he really looking for? Well, we're going to be talking about that now that we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki. But let me say, Amayo says Nigeria kills dreams. Oh my goodness. He said Nigeria kills dreams. Now, we'll be talking more about that. But Yomi, now, welcome back. Now, let's look at the first story pertaining to this 22-year-old lady who has lost her life, Oluwabamesi. Okay, I hope that I didn't massacre her name, but may her soul rest in peace. The father is saying that, look, it's actually thrown me out, and I'm really not in a good place at all. Can you give us a bit more on that story, please?
Well, for the benefit of those that probably are not from Nigeria, you might not understand, that a lot of Nigerians faces a daily activities of different things that could happen to you. And the last prayer that you want is, may Nigeria never happen to you. On the 26th of February, a 22-year-old Oluwabamise Anyowola was traveling in what we could have called one of the most secure, protected bus rapid transit, but was later found dead. Mr. Joseph said, which is the father, he had not been himself since the demise of his daughter. Joseph said this at his residence at Oluronshola area of Ipaja Ayobo in Lagos State. I know the area very well, one of the most also condensed location in Lagos State. The father said that the disease was the last of his 10 children. 84-year-old man who is a pastor said, it is hard to believe that my daughter is no more. What actually happened? He said that the Lagos State government under Babajide Sanwo-Olu had promised to pay his family a condolence. You would expect that the governor will have left everything that he's doing to have at least paid a visit, but according to what we know, the governor have not done that yet. But the question then is, what happened? How did a young girl boarded what could have been a more secure transport? This is not a private one. We have a lot of private transport in Nigeria, but the one that we are just talking about now is the one that is being presented to the Lagosians by the Lagos State governor in terms of a kind of a discounted, if you want to put it that way, which is something that a lot of people have been making use of. But this young girl was killed by the driver. But the reason why we have been able to get a lot of evidence of that is Mrs. Comfort Anyowola, the mother of the deceased, said that the verbal note evidence her daughter sent to her friend before she was allegedly murdered should be enough evidence for the government to prosecute the driver, which we believe it will eventually happen. The evidence which has gone viral should be enough evidence. But the question is, the driver also lied that the kidnappers pointed a gun at him, dragged the daughter out of the BRT bus he was driving while he was in transit. But we now find out that all that was lie because the driver himself was behind the murder of this innocent 22-year-old Nigerian that has now become another case of a death in Nigeria.
Now, interestingly, were there other corporates involved in this?
Well, this was just the driver from what we know so far. Imagine that the girl, had the instinct that something wasn't right. She was the only passenger in the vehicle, and at some time, I think she realized that something is not right. She raised the alarm a little bit to one of her friends during a communication, which I believe would have been through the WhatsApp. But she did not escalate it enough quickly, because you could hear from that video conversation that I'm in this bus, that is the driver up there. Something is not right, something is fishy, but she laughed it out. Please do not raise the concern yet, because that could just be a kind of something that she might probably, I think she was thinking that maybe, just maybe, it could have been a little bit better, but it wasn't better because she lost her dear life for that.
A sad one. We'll be looking at the security when it comes to women. How secure do they feel in Nigeria? But just a moment, Mayo says US, China, India had a population and use it to their advantage in developing their economy. But reverse is the case in Nigeria. Terrorism, corruption, injustice, killings, break it up to save lives. Interesting. Now, so the question that I wanted to find out, how secured are women when it comes to Nigeria and then, Nigeria as a whole? How secured are women?
Well, quite a lot of women around the world. I think I was listening to one of the mainstream media here in the UK, if I believe was last week, and I think one of the young girls that was killed in Clapham area.
Yeah.
So, it's not that we don't get such a, and the percentage of those that does this kind of attack on women, especially those that are coming back on a late night in UK as an example, are those probably the ex-boyfriend or the ex-husband, and probably maybe 1% or 2% of others as well. But what we do know is the question you ask is, what is kind of protection for women in Nigeria? We've seen a lot of abusive husbands. We've seen the other way around as well, the abusive wives, because there was a particular case where the wife literally threw a hot palm oil or thereabout on the husband because he believed that the husband was probably having an affair with another woman. So, but the question is, how secure is the lives of many Nigerians, either at the university. If you remember, I believe a year ago, when a young girl was also kidnapped, and was eventually raped, I believe in the church in the south.
I remember.
So you could tell that the danger that we have on so many of the women in Nigeria is just staggering. But the question is, how can it be done to have a protection on them? This is Lagos State. This is meant to be the center of excellency. This is meant to be the center point of Nigeria. But today is no longer safe for millions of Nigerians as they're walking home, going back after their daily chore, for a country that is not even providing enough in the first place for most Nigerians. And that is why I say, just pray that Nigeria never happened to you.
So just pray that Nigeria never happens to you. Amayo says absolutely no protection for the women there. That's what the answer that he is giving to me. Now, interestingly, when people go through such a challenge, here you have the police or the state providing them with what do you call it? Counselors or somebody to because it's a shock to the system. I mean, your daughter just goes out and something like that happens. Do we have anything of the sort in Nigeria? Where maybe the police or where they can, so that they can calm the person down. I mean, do we have anything of the sort?
Again, it seems that we're still thinking that Nigeria is a country that has a system in place. Nigeria is 60 years behind. For those that might probably do not understand, I mean, you're talking about a system where the police officer will visit and calm down the family. First and foremost, the family visited the police station with the evidence, but they care less, and that is a question that has now, until this issue generate through the social media, which it has actually done, because the police that was meant to have been a protection have also done a lot of extortation and sometimes judicial killings of innocent Nigerians that led to the NSAS that went also end up to killing more people that were complaining in the first place of their killing of them by the security operatives in Nigeria. So there is quite a lot of issues that needs to be dealt with, and that is why some people do ask the question, maybe we're too big to be dealt with on our own. Maybe if the country go into a peaceful disintegration, each region, just as it was during the 1960 when we had the first democratic election, that was a regional government, until the military coup in 1966, maybe all these issues can be looked into properly, because the center is no longer holding, as Buhari himself is still here in London taking a medical treatment while the wife comfortably living in Dubai.
Well, listeners, maybe they are talking. Nobody knows what exactly is going on. But it is Starr Radio UK. Updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Some information that Yomi has posted right now. Imminent, spontaneous and sporadic civil disturbance and clashes envisaged in parts of Lagos over alleged suspension of the Lagos NURTW bus. So approach known crisis flashpoints with caution. So to our listeners, I mean, you can send it to your families wherever they are, so that if they are approaching that area, they approach with caution. Amayo says it is Nigeria, the only nation in the whole world where men just serve for the post of women affairs. So you have the women affairs minister or boss who is a man. Interesting. Well, the right of women.
Let's really touch on that NURT, because that could easily spread quickly, and that could bring a lot of damage and crisis back to those in Lagos.
Okay.
MC Oluomo, as we know him, is the chairman of the Lagos NURT, which is stand for the National Union of Road Transport Workers. The crisis deepens as the union have now suspended MC Oluomo from the report that we are getting. The infighting within the ranks of the National Union of Road Transport Workers has accumulated in the suspension of his Lagos chapter chairman, Musiliu Akinsoya, popularly called MC Oluomo. The suspension order was issued by a letter dated the 9th of March 2022, was signed by the General Secretary for the national body, Kabiru Ya'u, who promised to ensure that the NURT constitution remained sacrosanct and adhered to by all members across the country. MC Oluomo's suspension was over allegations of misconduct, insubordination, and inciting members of the state chapter against the apex body. The development may be connected to a protest staged by MC Oluomo supporters during which they accused the union at the national level of unnecessary interference in the union state affairs. So we got to say to Nigerians, especially those in Lagos, to take extremely caution in the next couple of hours or days, because it could become a very, very critical situation, because we do know the kind of element of these individuals and what they can do, especially some people that are ready to die when it comes to these kind of difficult criminals that have been used by most of the politicians for the last 20 years of democracy in Lagos State and some other state across the Southwest.
Wow. So please caution if you're approaching that particular area. Yet approach with caution, okay? Don't go hurt yourself. But if you have any information or any news or anything pertaining to that, send it to us and then we will read it out. You can send it to Mr. Olayomi, or even after the update, if you send it to him, we'll still be able to share it with our worldwide listeners or our listeners in Nigeria. Okay, Starr Radio UK, Mr. Olayomi bringing you updates from Nigeria. Now, Yomi, move on to some of the other stories, sir.
Once again, not a very great news coming out of Nigeria, as more terrorists are creating more havoc to millions of Nigerians, depending on the location, just like you said earlier, that the deputy governor of Kebbi State that was attacked. But before we go into that, this is the headline coming. A terror group, ISWAP, has now releases photos of its Islamic police, ISBA, destroying marijuana in Nigeria. Though the location wasn't disclosed, security analysts claim the incident occurred around the Lake Chad in Borno State. Like we always say, Nigeria, with a lot of porous border, allow the criminal gangs, terrorists coming into the country. The Islamic State-backed faction of Boko Haram, Islamic State West African Province, also known as ISWAP, formerly known as the Jama'atu al-Assasuna Lead Dawa wa Jihad, has released photos claiming to show its Sharia policemen, ISBA, destroying batches of drugs suspected to be cannabis in the undisclosed location in Nigeria. The photos show 3 members of the terror group wearing uniforms with the word Islamic State and ISBA on them. ISBA, is a kind of a different one from like the Amotekun that we have in the Southwest. So ISBA is kind of connected to the northern part of the country, but how this is now linking with the ISWAP trying to say that the ISBA is part of what they, in terms of the article that we are reading right now. Though, like I said, we couldn't know the location, but the question then remains is, the terror group in 2021, as we know, also distributed Ramadan welfare packages to residents. Some of these local government is in control of this dangerous terrorist organization in Nigeria. Let's go straight to some of the other
headlines. Now, Yomi, just a minute on that. Now, are they saying that the governor in that particular state has allowed the ISBA to work hand in hand with the ISWAP to deal with this drug?
I remember that part of the country is already running on Sharia law. So ISBA is operating just like Amotekun. But we do know that the reason why the ISWAP and this terrorist group is to have what we can call a similar pattern of an Islamic state.
Okay.
So I'm sure maybe they are not linked, but they're probably more happy that they have ISBA operating under a kind of Sharia law, which should not be, because Nigeria is meant to be a secular country. But as we know, almost part of the state in the north are more focused using the Sharia system rather than the conventional one that we could talk about.
Well, listeners, Starr Radio UK, Yomi bringing you some more stories from Nigeria. Over to you, sir.
Again, Boko Haram, the fear grips Borno community as brigadier commander withdraw troops and weapons because he doesn't want to stay in the bush. I mean, you would expect that the military should be in the bush as long as they're well equipped and have all the necessary tools to fight back the most dangerous element of criminals that are creating havoc to millions of Nigerians. The residents of Damaski town in the mobile local government area of Borno State again are currently living in fear after the brigadier commander for the 145 battalion withdrew troops from the area, according to military source. Some military sources who spoke on condition of anonymity said Brigadier General G.O. Olayomi was dispatched to the area to replace S.S. Tilawan as the new brigadier commander, but noted it had affected the security of the area. Most of Borno State has a big kind of security network, and that is the question is, why should the brigadier general be pulling out in a very difficult situation that most citizens are facing already. Let's touch on more other headlines before we come back again to you in the studio. As we continue to say, this is Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. The family people killed during Gombe Governor Yaya visit to school demand compensation. Again, another death. Again, another 17-year-old was one of the peoples asked to line up by the road, wave flags to welcome the governor into Kumo town. But according to Hassan Sukunle Tele, the father of Rabab Hassan, a people killed by a reckless driver during the visit of the school by Gombe State Governor Muhammadu Inwanu Yaya, has cried out demanding a compensation. It is not the first time that we've seen cases of these similar killings, even in the southwest, where one of the governor's wife was traveling and end up, killing one of the students as well, in a particular motorcade, because most of the time they do drive recklessly as well. So one thing we can say is, most times, a lot of Nigerians are killed, like I always say, until Nigeria happened to you, before you can understand, the consequence of what it means to be a Nigerian. I'm going to come back again slightly to you in the studio, but once again, it is Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And when we come back, we'll be looking into NBA, Lambas Umahi, sack governors, 18 senior advocate of Nigeria to battle appeal. I'll be giving a little bit of that story, but for now, let's come back again to the studio.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. It's now gone exactly, 11:25 from the hearts of London. I'm Archie in the South Studios and Mr. Olayomi Koiki in the North Studios. Now, Amayo says, thank you, God, the Almighty, thank God, the Almighty is dealing with the enemies of Yoruba land day by day. He is talking about the likes of the MC Oluomo and others. Okay, and Amayo continues to say, one day, new problem is the state of Nigeria. The passengers stranded as Lagos Ibadan train reportedly runs out of diesel. Well, he is also giving us some updates from some of the stories making the rounds. But I'm just asking this question whilst Yomi was talking, and some of the polls that have been posted, and the fact that others are advocating, especially we talk about the Igbo or the South, let me call it the Southeast and the Southwest, who are advocating for separation from Nigeria. But I'm asking the question: is Nigeria too big to be governed? And again, will returning the country or the sub areas to regional governance appease everybody? And again, would that change the behavior of citizens? Okay, I want to have your take on that. Is Nigeria too big to be governed? That's why we are seeing all this confusion and everything that is going on. And maybe returning the various sections into the regional governance as they had it before. And then would that change the behavior of people? Or its citizens? I want to know what you really think about it. Is that the way forward? Maybe instead of the Yoruba nation going their separate ways, they remain part of Nigeria, but they become a regional government of their own. They have their own laws, and then we have like a proper federal system, as we've been talking about. Okay, we want to hear what you have to say. But then let's move on to some of the other stories that Yomi is talking about. And Yomi, feel free if you want to chip in on that as well.
On that point, I've had a lot of people also say the same to me, especially because we are part of the media that is promoting the self-determination. People are always asking the question: do you think that we can change the situation even if we end up having a nation of our own? And the question I say to them is, let's just go back to country like this where at some point a lot of orientation, a lot of training will have to be done, to bring the society back to the to the top mark. We've seen even accommodations that are in a kind of a deprived condition, and eventually the council started hitting them hard with either more training or fine. We've seen people picked up rubbish and dump it on the doorstep of individuals, and eventually they trace it back to who owns that rubbish and they get fined. So it's all about the orientation that would eventually become part of a new system if truly we have to change the conversation that we have in Nigeria today, and which is going to take a lot of time. It's not going to happen overnight. So yes, as much as you do talk about the regional government, these are part of people that have asked the restructure of the country but it seems this country doesn't want to restructure. Rather, they want to focus on more election, and leave the priority. But those that are now demanding a total opt-out are doing so because they believe that a system that was there before the British came in 1914 should be abide by, rather than the system that was changed in 1914 when they left and it become a mess that we are witnessing today. So that is just to to point on that.
Yeah. Okay. A quick one. Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, good morning and thank you very much for joining. Amayo says that story that we did announce earlier on is breaking news that is happening. That's happened an hour ago. That's about the passengers stranded as Lagos Ibadan train reportedly runs out of diesel. Okay, that is the story coming.
Maybe enough because the diesel is selling at about 600 naira per liter as of this morning. That's even if you can get it. So quite a lot of pressure in the country. Let's go straight to the governor of Ebonyi State. This has been happening in the last couple of days, and I think about under 48 hours. The Nigerian Bar Association yesterday lambasted the Ebonyi State governor David Umahi for attacking Justice Inyang Ikowo of the Federal High Court, who sacked him and his deputy Kelechi Igwe on Tuesday. Justice Inyang had in a judgment on Tuesday restrained the Ebonyi State governor Umahi and his deputy Igwe from parading themselves as governor and deputy governor of the state on the ground that they contested the 2019 governorship poll on the platform of the PDP, which is the People's Democratic Party. But he said by defecting to the APC, they could not transfer the vote in the governorship poll to PDP. You can see that Nigeria is a country with quite a lot of interesting tricks every day, every now and then. I mean, these were people that contested one election under PDP, and they've now moved everyone into APC, whether they agree or not. And that is the reason why the judgment has come up. Among other allegations, the governor had alleged that the judgment by Ekwo was brought among other allegations. The governor it was brought while criticizing the adjectives used on the judge. The NBA, which stands for the Nigerian Bar Association, says the governor of Ebonyi Umahi outburst amounted to impunity and executive rascality taken too far. The association, which stated in the statement by its president Olumide Akpata, demanded an apology and retraction from the governor. I'm not sure the governor is going to apologize because some of these politicians think they are demigod, that nobody can touch them. The NBA said, we noted with utter dismay the unfortunate and total unacceptable reaction of David Umahi to the judgment of the Federal High Court in Abuja that was delivered on the 8th of March by Honorable Justice Inyang Ekwe, which inter alia ordered him and his deputy to vacate the office of the governor and the deputy governor respectively of Ebonyi State on the ground of their defection from PDP to APC. What a very interesting one. And then I'm going to take us straight to the social media this morning, as we continue to say it's coming out to exactly 11:32 this morning. Let's check and tell you what is happening on the social media. Once again, the continual amendment of charges against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is an evidence the Nigerian government is helpless and not have evidence against the IPOB leader. Again, David Odonye says, even Ibrahim Babangida, the notorious kleptocrat and architect of the 40% of Nigeria's current system problems, was competent enough to position Nigeria to benefit from the Gulf oil windfall. I think it's relating to the situation happening between Russia and Ukraine. But he's saying that oil is about $130 per barrel today, but Nigeria cannot benefit from it. I'm sure a lot of people will say because of the incompetence that we have as well. Kanuta Kanu at Mazi Kanuta Kanu says, and I quote, under also tagging FCD, Gov UK, State Department, if at Gov Nigeria ain't scared of their terrorists in the north, why are they not condemning the death of 15 soldiers, 5 policemen that was killed in Kebbi with a question mark? The Fulani dream of your one Nigeria, but not at the detriment of the hashtag Biafrans. Fulani, you can't destroy hashtag IPOB, and he's also commenting under the article on the mainstream media, one of the newsprint rather, that says bandits killed 15 soldiers, 5 policemen, burned the patrol van in a fresh attack in Kebbi community. So you can see. So you're going to take one more. Neferati at First Ladyship says, people who crucified Jonathan for 100 barrels crude oil are all quiet now. Crude oil has been about $100 mark, but Nigeria won't benefit from the windfall. America, Europe, almost everyone is looking for cheap oil to buy, but APC don't know what to do. Their propaganda has already expired. The war in Libya was created by the Europe, same in Afghanistan, Sudan, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Rwanda, Congo. 99% of the wars and the military coups in Africa are sponsored and aided by Europe. This is coming from Ademola, also known on Twitter as Ogbeni Demola. This is Star Radio UK, and as they say, before we come, the website that was launched almost 48 hours ago has hit a lot of traffic. It has been down, up and going for the last 24 hours, but from what we are told, the website is now up and running again. This is a website that has been launched by the Alano of the Yoruba movement and also the wife of the late Chief MK Abiola, that says 5 million petition would also be part of the campaign for a movement and also peaceful disintegration out of Nigeria, because Nigeria doesn't belong to us. Nigeria was given to the Yorubas, and the Yoruba owns the indigenous owner of the land, and they do not want to be part of Nigeria. So that has come up to about almost 1 million people have signed it so far. But like I said, in the last couple of hours up to yesterday, the site has been in and out. But what we are told now, that the website is back again, up and running.
Well, interesting. I will talk. We'll talk about the website in a moment and the charges against Nnamdi Kanu, whether it's been reviewed. But Amayo says that if you bring a slave into your household, make him or her part of your family, he or she definitely one day behave like a slave. This is what happened when Southern Protectorate was amalgamated with the Northern Protectorate. Oh, that is a strong one. Now it goes on further to say, no matter how you pamper an animal, the fact still remains it is an animal. Break up Nigeria to save lives. Okay, but well, as we are asking, maybe the regional governance system will work for us. The 1914
and the comment here coming as well to buttress the comment on the other side here. OE says MC Oluomo that we discussed in the NURT that has no single Keke Marua. Keke Marua is a kind of a public transportation in Lagos and most of it, or Okada, but it's been collecting levies and dues from the vehicle owners. Also, Olatunja officer says that is the price we are paying if the state government have their own state police force, which is independent from the federal police force, then Nigeria will be on the right track.
Well, let your comments continue to come through. But let's look at Nnamdi Kanu's case. Have they, now brought another fresh charges against him, or still the old ones that they still have against him?
Well, it is still the old one. I think the Twitter comment there was just saying that it doesn't seem that the Nigerian government has any kind of charges against him, and that is why most of the Biafran believe that the government is running away from their court system, and that is why they are trying as much as possible to hold him there until 2023, but there's a lot of pressure that the government must release him on bail while the case continue. But the DSS probably are a bit worried that maybe, as they did, but what people are saying, the argument of his legal representative is Nnamdi Kanu never run away. It was again the military that invaded his house.
Yeah, I remember.
And the intention was to kill him, and that means he has to escape to save his lives.
Well, he escaped. They brought him in. They are keeping him. What next? Well, okay, now let's talk about this website that the Yoruba nation are trying to put across. We have the wife of the late Chief Abiola. Yeah, Chief Abiola, and some of the stewards of the Yoruba nation pushing this agenda. What is the purpose of it?
Well, the purpose of it means that if we say we want to leave Nigeria, who are those that wants to leave Nigeria? Are the indigenous people wants to leave Nigeria, or is it just something on the social media? When United Kingdom wanted to leave European Union, it was the people that voted for a referendum. Like Frank was asking yesterday, does it mean that the Constitution allowed this? No. What this literally means is to present to the global community that we have 5 million out of those of the 80 million or 120 million of the Yorubas that are prepared ready to exit Nigeria. What that could also lead is a kind of a database that will start to be used to form a kind of what we can call an interim out of a government to prepare them as we're moving into a country of their own. This is going to create a lot of conversation in the next couple of months, as a lot of people around the globe that are still thinking there's a one Nigeria, but we have to remember that there are millions of people that no longer believe in Nigeria as much as those that believe in Nigeria. So it's a kind of a conversation that is out there, but the purpose of the petition is to present it to the global community and the United Nations that 5 million is what they are looking for. But like we said, about 1 million plus have already signed it so far, but that website has been crashing. But from what we are told, the site is back up and running again.
Now, interestingly, you remember the other time or some time ago, I did ask you the question. If you look at the Yoruba group, okay, how many of them can you say, I mean, that maybe they are in for the fact that you say there should be a separation or a breakaway from there? I know some of them who may be enjoying whatever is going on might think, oh, we are okay here, let's just remain here. But there are others who think, no, we could do better. Now, roughly, what percentage are you looking at?
Well, I mean, if you look at the percentage, it's more than 50% of those at home. At the moment, most people at home are not probably up to date with the current information because of lack of information that has been suppressed, which is quite expensive. But the question is, we're getting more people since the petition was raised 48 hours ago that are asking the question, how do we sign it? Because already a lot of people are facing a lot of difficulties and thinking that now that the explanation, because what they were having is there was no proper explanatory of what Nigeria is, where does Nigeria start from? And again, it is not about now. People have been demanding a restructure of Nigeria for the last 30 years. Out of that 30 years was 20 years of a new democratic system that came up in 1999 after the late Chief MK Abiola that died in 1993 after the first election. So it's not just about now. It's about Nigeria has been on a pressure cooker, but it doesn't seem that anybody wants to listen. But now that there's a kind of a proper social media opportunity to express yourself that has been traveling around the globe, especially even after Chief Sunday was released on Monday, it was already like an independent to millions of Yorubas across the globe.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Well, Amayo says, if a referendum is conducted today, I bet over 85% will vote yes. And that's a good one. But again, if this goes to this petition, we garners the 5 million signatories that they want, and it goes to the UN, do you think government will adhere to it?
Well, it's not whether the government will adhere to it. It's about what the people want, and in the case that people are more concerned that we don't want to have an escalation of a new war in Nigeria. So I'm sure the United Nations would have to at some point start listening properly to the conversation on the ground. I mean, if you look at the Amazonia at the moment, you can see that there's a lot of fight going on there, and it's not the first time that we've seen crises that erupt into the break of the country. Some might say it doesn't work properly, some might say it works properly, but if you look around the globe, I'm sure you probably want to take the one that works properly as against those that are saying that we have been pinned into a country that does not belong to us and we must live on a peaceful note.
Well, listeners, that is Mr. Olayomi bringing you updates from Nigeria. Yomi, before we go.
Well, Starr Radio UK, continue to listen to Archie and Frank and the rest of the team. But for me, I'll be back again same time tomorrow when we say very good morning from here at 11:42 a.m.
Well, listeners, that has been Mr. Olayomi bringing you updates from Nigeria. It's now gone, 18 minutes to the top of the hour. It is the Thursday edition of the morning show. I'm Archie, and we'll be continuing with the program. However, now it's time for us to ease and take it easy. As one of the listeners did post their comment there and enjoy this song from Raskimono, the prophet. I call him the prophet. Well, Nigeria under pressure. Enjoy it, and I'll be with you.
After seeing all what's going in Africa.
This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car,
At work.
at home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
All around the world.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
There is nothing too hard for him.
Join Prophet Ajimai Prempe for this year's double portion London Summit at the London Marriott Hotel, Maidavale, London, NW6 5RP from Friday 11th March through to Sunday 13th. Details are as follows. Friday 11th March 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday 12th of March 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday 13th of March 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come and experience the prophetic like never before and hear the word of the Lord for your life. Please call 077-60-276-394 or visit www.prophetprempeh.org for more details.
A miracle working God. He's a miracle working God. He would never.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time exactly to 12 minutes to the top of the hour. That's 12 minutes to 12. Exactly at 12 o'clock, I'll be opening the lines for you to add your voice to the discussion. So wherever you are, keep your dial still locked on Star Radio UK. I'll be having my crew who will be joining in a moment, adding their voices to the discussion. So wherever you are, just stay tuned. Don't you go away. But let me say a special good morning to Mr. Francis Guy, our able producer in the house. But if you hear me speaking nicely, then he's the one who comes in and tell you that everything is moving all right. So some way, somehow, we get on with it. All right then. But share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. And once again, let me say happy birthday to the old man himself. Who says the old man? Yes. Apostle Hendrik Bruce, brother HB. Yes, it's his birthday today. Apostle, yes. Are we having some party? Yeah. Okay. Yes, I'm going to invite some people. We get Crash's party. What about that? Okay. It is already UK. Now let's move on to some of the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Starting from home here in the UK, and then we'll move on to some of the African continent, some other parts of the world and the African continent as well. Now, the first story talks about Ukraine. Roman Abramovich sanctioned by the UK. For those of you who follow us to get all the stories, especially football lovers. Now, Chelsea FC owner Roman Abramovich has been sanctioned by the UK government as part of his response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. He's one of 7 oligarchs to be hit with fresh sanctions, including asset freezes and travel bans. Now, the list also includes billionaires Igor Shekin and Oleg Deripaska, both seen as allies of Vladimir Putin. Now, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said there can be no safe havens for those who have supported the invasion. Now, today's sanctions are the latest step in the UK unwavering support for the Ukrainian people. In the quote, it said, "We will be ruthless in pursuing those who enable the killings of civilians, destruction of hospitals, and illegal occupation of sovereign allies," Mr. Johnson said. But interestingly, I think sometime last week or thereabout, Abramovich did make a statement when he said that he has put Chelsea on the market. He did say that, well, the proceeds of that sales, he is going to donate that to the people of Ukraine. So does that not go far enough for him to be giving that relief there? Why further sanctions? To that, and again, this is a question where maybe in time past, I was passed with some. Let me put it this way, okay, for lack of words, with Hitler, I was passed with Hitler. So you might have seen me in some pictures with Hitler. Now, if today Hitler decides to invade Europe and decide to go on the path of the Second World War, do you say because of those past lying or links, so I'm still part of him and therefore you have to punish me? See, that's what seems to be going on at the moment. So there are some of them, these oligarchs, who are saying that, look, we did not actually do anything wrong. I mean, in the past, maybe we had some business dealings with him. Maybe, when we were doing some promotions. Of course, when you're a business entity or a business person, you have to find ways and means to keep your business moving. So maybe that's what they did. So now that they have made their own money and they are doing their own businesses, why should they be punished for, just call it, being in a picture or in a video with somebody who is now said to be what? The devil's incarnate. Well, what do you think? Well, football fans, do you think that will be good? I mean, especially the Chelsea football supporters. How do you feel about the whole thing? Maybe we have to raise funds to own the club ourselves. You know, I don't support Chelsea though, but my next door neighbor, he's a proper Chelsea supporter. So I don't know how he's feeling. But I think this afternoon when I see him, I'll be asking him how he feels about the whole thing. Maybe he will raise the funds to buy the club. But what do you think? It's all coming away from Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay. And still going on. Ukrainians to be able to apply online for UK visas. Now from Tuesday, those with passports can apply virtually and give their biometric details in the UK. That's some of the stories making the rounds as well. And private militias recruiting for Ukraine fight. Now, private militias are scouring social media to recruit for soldiers, veterans. That's the story. I mean, I've monitored a few stories that seems to show, individuals, ex soldiers who are saying that, well, we cannot stand for such evil to, continue, and therefore we are going to go there to go and fight. But this is a situation where, you should have a commander, or somebody who knows the terrain, who is going to be guiding you as to what to do. Are they going to be, working with the Ukrainian soldiers? And if such people, any of them is captured by the Russians, doesn't it change the whole, war to something else? Doesn't it escalate it? As at the moment, we know that the West are sending lots of anti-aircraft missiles and other ammunitions to the Ukrainians because of what is happening there. But I want to know your take on that. Let us know. Well, it looks like we are in for the long haul. What about that? It is All Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And interestingly, in Glasgow, Nicholas Rossi, the man accused of being a fugitive. Well, the story says it is a bizarre case that has been making international headlines. A man was arrested on a COVID ward in Glasgow Hospital, accused by the US authorities of being a fugitive who faked his own death to evade justice. Now, they say Nicholas Rossi is suspected of a number of sexual assaults and is wanted to face a rape charge in the state of Utah. Now, but the man at the center of the extradition process claims it is a mistake and is challenging them to prove his identity. That's going to be an interesting one. Have they got a DNA of him? Well, in an interview, he said he was in a wheelchair, his voice competing against the haze of an oxygen mask. He says he's not Nicholas Rossi, the man the Americans want to extradite on a rape charge in Utah. In fact, he claims he has never been to America. He goes on further to say, I am out tonight, and this is my wife, Miranda Knight, he told them. Now, he claims to have got married in Bristol 2 years ago and produces a wedding certificate for that as well. Now, he goes on further to say, but there is no birth certificate in his pile of documents. He claims this is a consequence of being adopted in Ireland before moving to London in his teens. I tell him that the story he's telling me has been dismissed as a load of rubbish by the U.S. authorities and that they are sure he is Nicholas Rossi. Now, then I will invite them to prove it. So that is what is going on. They say, well, if that's what they are saying, he wants to invite them. Let them prove that I am Nicholas Rossi and not Arthur Knight. Whew. So you have to be careful. If somebody looks like you now and the person go cause trouble, you have to make sure you stay in your house. You don't go out, because if you dare go out, there's a tendency that someone might just say that that is the man, and then, like in our country where they don't have birth certificates or all those things are not correct, they'll just take you down that you are the suspect or whoever has committed a crime. What do you think? Well, this and a lot more going to be coming your way. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One other story from the UK front, and then we'll take a break. We've got Mr. Frank Davis in the house as well, and we'll be looking at some of the stories making the rounds. Now, when it comes to the cost of living, my goodness, I don't know. But that's where I was asking the question the other time about those who are advocating for environmental and energy reforms and all those communities. Now, if you look at the cost of living that we've not actually, gotten in yet at the moment, you look at the fuel prices and stuff like that, it's frightening. So, do you think that it's about time that we put on pause all these other means that we have to now? If you drive to central London and you get ULEZ and all that stuff that is going on, the mayor saying it's going to expand now. Even he's thinking of, even if you use electric car, now they're going to be charging you by mile as well. And so all of those things coming on. When they're talking about the fact that, look, we are doing all this for our environment. And I ask the question once again. Now, if the UK says, okay, we whatever is going on, we don't give a whoops about it, we're going to go on with it and decide that, well, let prices go up, let's increase the cost of energy and everything, let our people suffer, let them cry, but we know that we are saving the world. And we have the big hooks like China, we have Russia, and we have the Brazilians who are saying that we don't give them hooks, we're going to be cutting down the trees or hewing, destroying the forest. And what do you think the UK's sacrifice will offer? Is it a bit of maybe if it's let's say 20 millimeters of rain, and therefore because of what the UK is doing, we're going to get 19 millimeters of rain falling, and therefore there will not be floods or anything. So I'm of the view that if we look at the thing holistically, if we all agree that this is what we all have to do, because I remember, was it early part of this year or latter part of last year, when there was this environmental conference, the Glasgow one, where we had lots of world leaders coming in, or giving all these speeches and various things that they did. But if one country decide they just want to lead, and they are going to do everything to sacrifice their people's pleasure, peace, and everything to do that, then do you think that goes far enough? Well, I've got my main man in Glasgow, and I've got Mr. Frank Davis also with us. Let me acknowledge Frank first. Frank, good morning to you.
Archie, good morning, and good morning to our listeners wherever they are. Fellas, good morning to you. Listeners, bear with us. We're just trying to adjust this crooked face.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you? How are you doing?
Actually, I am very, very well. Doing quite great.
Okay.
I've been following Russia and Ukraine,
and
I've been jotting our notes.
Okay.
For me, I've been very happy with the development so far. Both the oligarchs front, the immigration problems that they are having, because the more you look into it, the more you begin to understand what they are doing. Oligarchs, I'm happy they are seizing their assets, because for once it becomes a signal. We saw it in Libya.
Yeah.
We saw the Iranian, millionaires who have their assets over.
Yeah.
People who make money. Let's understand, these monies were not made over here. These monies were made elsewhere and brought to this country. Talk of what happened with Libya. What happened to Arabs who had money here. Talk of Iraqis who had money here, Iranians who had money here. All these monies are worth that belongs to those countries. A lot of Africans are involved. Right?
Yeah.
You bring all these monies here, anything happen, they confiscate it, and that is why our leaders, especially African leaders,
I get what you're
because their money is here, they actually move like brooms that are, you do this, they move. You moved it because they are afraid their assets will be confiscated. So for me, it's good, because all these monies, if they were in Russia, probably someone in Russia would have benefited more.
Of course.
Right? So for me, I love it.
Of course.
You see the immigration problem? I'm so happy. Because when they were designing the immigration system, they look at immigration and asylum system as only for blacks and Arabs.
And now?
That is it. They never envisaged that an European can ever become or can ever seek asylum. So everything that was being designed over there was with the face of a black man or a Muslim queuing, fleeing from hunger, not blue eyes, coming from Syria, coming from Eritrea to come and see refuge. So they designed this. You see now the problem they are facing?
They have to redesign. They are taking out to redesign.
All that bill in parliament that they say what they call homos, whatever, was designed for blacks and was designed for the Muslim people. So for me, I sit down and laugh. I say,
you are happy with the development so far. Well, for those of you who don't understand that, they say, well, if you try to poison somebody, you end up enjoying the poison as well, if it's good or bad. So that seems to be what is happening. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Frank Davis. For you, he's going to be bringing you more on the issues that is going on. But we have to go all the way to Aberdeen, where we have Felix as well. Felix, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, doing well, thank you. You?
I think I'm okay.
Good. Yes. Okay. Your contribution, sir.
let me start with a question you asked. Is Nigeria too big to be governed? No, it's not too big to be governed. So that argument, I would like that Yomi and his advocates to polish their responses on that.
Okay.
You know, if somebody can govern a country such as Russia and keep it intact, if somebody can govern a country such as Brazil and keep it intact, and I'm not talking about, you know, federations here. Okay, Russian Federation, but Brazil is one country.
Yeah.
If somebody can govern a country such as Canada and keep it intact, I'm talking about big, massive countries.
Yeah.
It's possible. And if somebody can, I don't like the history of Australia and how it was created, but it's still
even China,
it's a big country.
Yeah.
If somebody can govern a country like China and India with populations of well over 1 billion, it's possible to govern a country such as Nigeria. Now, it may be the case that there are intractable issues that cannot be resolved. Just like some families, they come to a situation where you say irreconcilable issues, so partners go different ways. If they have issues that cannot be resolved, then you can go split and go your separate ways.
Okay.
After all, a small country such as Belgium, which is just about the size of the Highlands in Scotland, have struggled over many years to live together, the Flemish-speaking part and the French-speaking part. And who knows what the future is? Maybe they may go their separate ways. So it's not about the size of the country, it's about issues that perhaps, as they are now in this current shape, they may not be able to resolve if they continue living together.
Okay.
So I just would like Yomi he and his advocates to polish their argument along those lines.
Okay.
Now, coming to the issue about the oligarchs.
Yeah.
It's kind of very strange, you know, when very wealthy aristocrats who have made a lot of money owning huge chunks of this country's land, been heavily involved in slave trade and building their wealth over all these years, are not described as oligarchs. But when somebody comes from Russia, they are described as oligarchs. Well, it's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So when a very wealthy American comes,
he's an investor.
Even though
he's an
he may have
investor.
had the oil wealth of the Gulf Stream in America on a easy cheap deal. You know, if a very wealthy, shall we say, Saudi prince comes into the country, is not described as an oligarch. But when a Russian brings their money, they are described as oligarchs. To me, I think this is even a good thing for the Russians. It's their wealth. It should be returned to them and let them enjoy their wealth, however that may be. But look, this is it's a face shadow of all that is good. I mean, look, are the Saudis not bombing the Yemenis? Have they not been bombing them for the last 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
Are the Saudis not the ones who are owning Newcastle United now? Do they have better human rights records than the Russians? Are women even allowed to vote in Saudi Arabia?
No.
When was the last time you saw a female minister of state or head of department or part of the diplomatic team traveling with the Saudis? You know, look, this whole thing here, there's a need for a bit of level-headedness here. I mean, last week when I spoke to you, I said that, look, taking Russia out of the SWIFT system effectively means that they will have to stop trading because they can't keep selling gas to you. How are you going to pay them?
Yeah.
And that's the reason why they've closed the taps on Germany, because how are you going to pay? You can't put the money in an aircraft and fly over to Moscow and give it to them, because you've also suspended their aircraft landing in your territory. They have also retaliated. So how do you expect to effect the payment? Put the money on a boat and meet at high seas, and then you exchange it to gold bars or what?
Let me ask you one question there, because I was looking at the fact that they said Abramovich. Okay, so let's take it that Abramovich got his wealth genuinely. No, nothing, and he can invest it wherever he wants. But the fact that he was in a picture or in a video, whatever, with somebody who is pertained to be the devil, does he have to pay for that?
Actually, does he have to pay for what?
For the fact that he was in a picture or he was a friend of somebody in the past. Let's say that currently maybe he's not even a friend of the person. That he has to be punished for that.
It doesn't matter. Look, these Russian oligarchs, particularly in the case of Abramovich, they decided not to stretch this out. They decided not to go to the British courts. But if they want to go to the courts, the government will find itself in more difficulty.
Yeah.
Because the fact that I'm a friend of yours does not necessarily mean that my assets should be frozen.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I may have been, or my dad may have been a friend of Mobutu Sese Seko. Does that mean that my wealth that I had have anything to do with Mobutu Sese Seko? And what does that? On what basis are you freezing my wealth? I mean, it's your country. So if you don't want me to live in the country, you can ask me to leave.
Yeah.
But my association with somebody as a friend, even as a business partner, should not be a reason for you to confiscate my assets.
Salvation is personal.
I guess these Russian oligarchs have decided that, look, it's about time we got out of this place. They may find themselves somewhere else, maybe in Russia. Maybe they may end up in the Caribbean, some of these Caribbean countries. Because let's be honest, some of their companies are registered in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in all of this, what I find a bit sad is that most African leaders are not thinking deeply and taking advantage of what is going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, countries such as Benin, Botswana, you should look at how do I open my banking system to these people. I hope that our brothers and sisters in Trinidad and Tobago, in Barbados and places like that, they should take advantage of this situation, get their expensive yachts.
In fact, Malaysia is actively pursuing that.
Yes.
Malaysia and even Israel.
Yeah. Because these people will still want to go on holiday every now and then. So open your doors over to these people. They won't be coming here. They will learn from their lessons. They won't be coming here anymore. That's one thing. That's the second. The third point is you are saying that all this environmental blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Look, it is because of the addiction of some of these Western countries to cheap oil that has led to the state where the world is now. Wars over the Middle East. You know, it's because of the addiction of United States, the average United States individual to drive big cars with big fuel engines. Because if they have the technology to transform, I mean, why do we have a lot of cars in Africa still using petrol? Why are we not using solar panels on our cars? All the sunshine that we get from 5 a.m. in the morning right all the way till about 6:30 in the evening, what are we doing with that? Nothing. The sun beats your head when I was a kid and you get headache. We're doing nothing with it. You know, so it's an addiction to these things that has led us to where we are. But what this is showing us is that you have to be, as a nation, you have to strive hard. It doesn't matter how much it's going to cost you, but you have to strive hard to be self-sufficient. You know, you have to strive, because some of the figures that are coming out is shocking. That Russia and Ukraine alone are producing, in some cases, about 1/3 of the grains, wheat.
Yeah.
You know, that tells you that the nations that are not self-sufficient be prepared for some more drastic things to come, because this is the Cold War now in effect. This time it may not be Cold War forever. It probably will be hot war. And the countries that have experienced this on their territory, such as Angola, such as Vietnam, such as Cambodia, they will not allow this sort of thing to be repeated in their countries anymore. I don't think the Latin Americans will be repeating this in their territories anymore. So you are likely to have this squared right in Europe. Because over the initial Cold War, these things were repeated were played on the battlefields of Cambodia, of Vietnam, of Angola, of Mozambique. But this time around, it's been played out in Europe.
Proxy wars.
So it's up to us, yes. And I'm surprised that even up till now, the African Union is not sitting down and getting African computer scientists. How do we have our own payment transfer system? If I want to transfer money to somebody in Nigeria, why does it have to go through some U.S., North American, European system of financial transfers? Why can't we not have our own? The Chinese have built their own system.
They have.
Yes.
Even Alipay.
Yes. And why should Nigeria sell its oil in dollars anyway? Why shouldn't it sell its oil in naira? So that there will be a demand for your naira as a currency. Why is Ghana selling its gold in dollars? Sell your gold in cities. So if somebody wants to buy, come to Ghana, change your dollars into cities and buy our gold in cities. That will prop up your currency. because there will be a demand for your currency. But as usual, African leaders are foolish. I'll listen to you and I'll chip in when I have a bit of time.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Thank you very much, Felix. Yes, that is Felix for you. He's added his voice to the discussions. But it is gone, 30 minutes past 12. So let me announce the lines open and we'll continue with the discussions. Now, if you want to call us on 0208-133-2257 or 58. 0208-133-2257 or 58. Now, if you are in the US, Canada, the Caribbean area, or southern part of America, yes, call us on 001-718-303-2737. 001-718-303-2737. You can also text or WhatsApp at 075-3966-1744. 075-3966-1744. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK and email address is info@starradiouk.com. All right then. Now, let me come back to Frank. Now, you see, let's pick it from where Felix left off, pertaining to like those who are advocating for environmental whatever pushing the agenda. This week we've had a serious floods in Australia. Now the UK suffered some floods about a couple of weeks back. Okay, so if only the UK people who are pushing the agenda that we should reform, I know that when it comes to the fossil oil fuel, we've got the North Seas. I don't know whether the North Sea, I don't know what percentage the North Seas produces. Maybe Felix can have that information and can tell us what percentage it gives to the UK as a whole. Okay, so if people, even with what is going on now, people are struggling. Do you think that we have to we don't put it on pause? We have to put that reform thing on pause.
Actually, it's on pause. I mean, it's automatic. It's been put on pause. I mean, Germany has started has fired back its coal power. Coal machine. Actually, you see, we have to look at what is happening globally as a money-making venture to some extent. Yes, we do. I'll be stupid, or I'll be if I don't say that probably. Humans will have an impact on the environment that no one can deny it. But you see, the technology most of the technologies that we are being pushed to adopt now and adopt aggressively are still owned and are in the hands of some of the Western powers. Okay, so whereas you're doing everything to catch up, they are taking leap miles away. I mean, that you should catch up or adopt some of this. It's not going to happen that way. I mean, what we should be doing as African is to be able to look at appropriate technology. How can we harvest the sun appropriately? Can we design system that those who might hotels that can capture water, heat them? We have those systems.
We have it.
Can we have water pipes embedded in our roofs? Can we redesign our our roofing system so that when the zinc or whatever is there, it is actually serving as a heating or a panel as well? So we can do all this, but you see, like Felix said, our leaders are not sitting down to say, what do we need today? What do we need tomorrow? What do we need next 10 years? The only thing the plan towards the next 20 years is how do we borrow so that the future generation will pay. They are not thinking of how do we put systems in place so that the future generation will benefit. Look, you're talking about the oligarch issue, and the confiscation of assets that we have. Actually, the West has laws that guarantees individual ownership to properties, right? Every property you own in this country is linked to you.
Of course.
That is why I cannot go and claim ownership for someone's property, right? And there are laws that guarantees that. The West democracy is founded on property owning. Whatever capitalism you call it is founded on property owning. The war they are fighting today in Ukraine, the proxy war that is being fought today in Ukraine, is all the agenda for capitalism. And capitalism, says that property owing, individuals who must own property. So why do people who own individual properties be sanctioned for the sin or what they perceive to be something as a decision that someone has taken? We must recognize the hypocrisy within the international system, and that is why they do not want to talk about. They don't want to speak the truth. What is happening in Ukraine, Archie? I mean, Felix, with the war hot, it might turn to hot war, and it's looking likely. Because look, when I woke up around 4 o'clock, and on reviewing the news, hearing that the propagandists of this world structure, US, have started saying that Russia is planning to use chemical and biological weapons. I say, here we go. Here we go again. Because at the end of the day, they are now looking for a pretext to intervene directly. That's what they are doing. If this has started and the Ukrainians are now resisting effectively, can we capitalize on this and reduce Russia to whatever we can at this time? This might be the only golden opportunity that we have, because they invaded Ukraine. And that's what is happening. Backyard, what are we doing? I watched a video 3 days ago. President Akufo-Addo was taking a picture at Dubai. I think they spent about 70,000 for 3 minutes display of Ghana flag on that.
That stand.
Yeah. And you realize that we are not ashamed as a people, as African leaders, because Dubai is a desert. It was a desert, and it took leadership, someone's leadership, to change that landscape to where those who now control some of the riches of this world, the mines, the golds and other, can just go and be taking photos because someone has used their brains to turn a desert into where everybody wants to go. And they are happy, smiling to cameras. I look at it and say, God, where did we come from?
Hold on, where we came from? I think Kofi knows where we came from. Kofi, good afternoon to you. Where did we come from?
First of all, I want to say good morning to yourself, to Frank.
Kofi, reset your watch. It's afternoon.
To yourself, to Frank, Felix, and I'm sure, is it Kojo?
Yeah, Kojo, yeah.
Kojo, and possibly, of course, Olayomi Kojo. But then the biggest good morning goes to Linda Pelle.
Oh, okay.
Linda is a wonderful person. She sometimes I do listen to this lady. Whatever she says, it really, really touches you. I do not have some, I have my own things I do.
Yeah.
I just quickly.
Yeah.
Last time she was talking, she said something, and I want all of us to learn from it. She was talking about the qualities of being, entrepreneur. I mean, the way, she talk about business. And she said, one thing you must not do, the easiest person to tell lies to is to yourself. So find a way of being honest to yourself. Be frank with yourself. And that's the name of my brother, Frank. Now, I think we are the kind of people who forever and ever shall be dishonest to ourselves. It has become part of our nature. See, when I say Frank, I'm talking about what? One person, isn't it? Archie, one person. Tell me, what is the difference between Archie and Frank?
Names.
It's very, very minimal. You are all both males. You are young men, almost of the same age. Everything is similar.
Kofi,
So
don't veer into that. You can't tell me I'm a male. You don't know me. You've not assessed me. You've not seen my medical report.
Well, I'm assuming.
Okay, good. He's assuming. That's cool.
Because if I call you something else, I may be risking my own head.
So mind your language.
I know what you are capable of doing. Now. So, if we put the two of you in a ring, or to play football, or to do something, the variance, the difference between you will not be much. Is that not true?
Yeah. Depending on the money involved.
Well, whatever you are going, at least you talk, I talk. This one talk. You can shout more. You can shout more than your voice. So the difference will not be much. Of course, no two people are identically, even two twins are not the same.
Yeah.
But if we say, when we talk about Ghana, we are, because we have the word Ghana as a country is a personified, abstract. We are talking about the authority of Ghana. made by the capability of the people of Ghana. And sometimes you see us comparing that thing because we are talking about something that looks like a person with America, which is a conglomeration of so many states, or Russia, or China, or European Union. Can you see?
Kofi, no. I think that's where you sometimes get the understanding of what a sovereign nation. Okay, when you come from USA, do you have a passport that says California passport, a Rhode Island passport, or Chicago? Do you have any passport like that? Or you call it United States of America passport? When you come from Russia Federation, hold on. When you come from Russia Federation, do you hold a passport that says this is Western Russia or whatever it is, or you call it Russian passport? You call it Russian passport. So Ghana being recognized, that's why, look, okay, if we talk of Russia, if you talk of Ghana, Benin or whatever, we are recognized by UN as a sovereign state, okay, to govern ourselves. That is exactly why if we say a nation, I know what you want to look at ECOWAS, but until we get there, for now, let's limit our discussion to the sovereignty of these countries.
You see, Jesus was talking about heaven. And people were telling him, we are here on earth. Why are you telling us of where we are not? At least we have been died first. We are not dead. So sometimes thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven can be applied to our daily life. Where we want to be and where we are, what is wrong in talking about that?
There's nothing wrong talking about, but certain subjects should be discussed within context.
Be patient with me. Yeah. If not, so we'll never even go there. Have you ever watched Americans in the Olympics game? Whenever they win, I remember Maria Jones. You remember that popular lady? She has 2 flags. When you go to United States of America, even Nigerians sometimes trying to come with too many flags. They have the federal flag and their state flag.
But Ashanti, if you go to every kingdom in Ghana, they have Ashanti flag, they have Ewe flags, they have these things.
Ewe to have got that. Well, we for people, we don't have flags, so please.
You don't know. You don't know they have a flag.
And now let me then turn back. This is where I want to quickly, because I listened to Olayomi quickly, and when he's making his passionate contribution, to be honest with you, I empathize with you. However, I have some reservation. The problem is not because, you understand, one part of Nigeria is doing well and another part of Nigeria is doing bad, especially, you understand, the whole Nigeria. Today I was watching Al Jazeera. Almost about 30 dead bodies were on the floor. They've slaughtered them. And they are all from the northern part of Nigeria. Can you see? In fact, the people in the southern part of Nigeria live a more comfortable life than those in the north. However, there is a nation that is struggling, that is suffering. And some people are saying that on the basis of their ethnic and tribal and language identity, they want to form a new nation and break away. And you ask them, what kind of people think of tribe? And the same thing is happening among the Igbo and the Hausas. Now, all of them are now turning the nation country with a common vision. It's now becoming what? About tribal interest and tribal... Now, I think Frank asked him yesterday, the thing you say you want to do, is it in your constitution? Is that not what Frank asked yesterday? And today he repeated, he said it's not. So it is not there. They are going ahead to compile their own signatures. Is that not true?
Yeah.
And then take those signatures to where? To United Nations. So it means United Nations is the one running the place. What kind of, did you see? That United Nations is not designed to run any country. The United Nations is to tell you not to fight. If you start fighting, that is why some people form their own NATO. Is NATO part of United Nations? NATO is not for United Nations. No. China is not in NATO. Russia is not in NATO. And NATO was what was used in Libya. United Nations now is struggling itself. If it's an African, one country on the African continent, South and North Sudan, little thing, they go and break it up. Why are they not going to? We told them they should go and put no fly zone on the Gaddafi again. But this time Gaddafi is putting. The man will bring down all the plane. And let me tell you something. You see, all this oligarch and all this thing and all this money, which we talk too much about textbooks, economics, and so forth, that nothing is working. We are telling you that if you do not learn to try to see the secret of the making of the machine that makes the machine that produce goods and services, and stop talking about money. We sell gold and make more money. We sell oil. It will take you generations to get out of where you are.
That's true. That one true.
And then let me take your mind back to Russia. They say McDonald's have left Russia, isn't it? If McDonald's
they can prepare they know they can prepare.
If McDonald's leave Nigeria or Ghana, will be begging, because even the meat for making McDonald's come from outside, isn't it?
Yeah.
They control our water. Do you think Russians don't have the machine to get their cows start making babies and start putting the burger together and running their own McDonald's?
Russia owns McDonald's. Russia owns food eateries Westpand.
Yeah.
Kofi, not to catch you. The day Apple announced that they were do you know what they did? One of it's a popular this thing on Russia television everywhere. Went and brought Russia-made phone and was advertising it. He said, look, if you still have your iPhone, chuck it somewhere. This is the future.
You see, you need to be in control of your technology. That is the whole secret. Russia, they think it's Nigeria, where when they close one pipe, the water will be in the river and all of us will be angry. In Russia, if you know that when you go to Lidl or Aldi, especially in Holland, there are so many brands of Pepsi and Coca-Cola.
Yes. Yeah. Even here.
They used to fool us with, and then you go. If Coca-Cola doesn't give you water, nobody drinks in Nigeria or Ghana. They control everything. They control our president, control everything about us. You can't try that on Russia. You see, they are Abramovich and co. You understand? And when you talk about oligarch, who is an oligarch? Oligarchs are rich people who are in government. Two wealthy people. Right? What about those in the House of Lords? What are they?
We have to find a new for them. They are lords.
They are not oligarchs in this country. Who vote for them?
They are like ECOWAS people.
So we are telling our people to wake up. Look, nobody can say, if you're a human being, what happened in Syria, what happened in Libya, what happened in Iraq, what is happening in Ukraine. It's not right. But what are they all using? In Ukraine, Russia, China, everywhere, it is the weapons they can make. This is technology. Who has the biggest? We even hearing they use some bombs there, hydrogen, whatever. That the bomb now, after exploding, nothing is left. It just scatter people. It suck up the air. We've heard about this bomb long ago. How many countries have got that bomb? We are telling you that when you see our leaders, Buhari coming to London and be kept in a hospital.
He's still in London anyway.
Do you know that the man will have preferred, because he know we are insulting him. He's not stupid. When Adamiels was desperate, he went out to take medical care. They will have preferred the medical care is on their ground. But you need a certain level of technology. Maybe they are even changing all the blood inside him. You go to Kolebu to change your blood. They will kill you and collect money from you. So, everyone out there, we are at the mercy of the controllers of the technological tools.
So, Kofi, moving forward, what will you advise? And especially we've spoken.
What I am saying is that looking at almighty Russia and all this reign of sanctions, because they have done what some people don't like. They've crossed the red line. If we too say, Coca-Cola, you are not doing very well, we are not getting good tax from you, you are this multinational corporation, you are cheating, so go. Do you understand? Or pay what we want. They'll put sanction on us. Oh, you think they'll say, oh, you people, you there, you are different, so let's leave you. They will use their leverage to take advantage. And we are telling you guys that let them put sanction on all 15 of us at a time, because the decision will be made in Abuja.
Okay. All right. So that's what Kofi is saying. Let's risk it. And we must change the West order.
So we are saying that, see,
What are we not getting right that is making us difficult to understand that? When we say democracy, we are not saying democracy only in Ghana. But if we can move the democracy a little beyond the colonial master's border.
Yeah.
Think outside the box.
Actually, Kofi, hold on. Something happened. See what Kofi is saying. Was it last year or last 2 years that, Huawei, the phone Huawei?
Yeah.
There was an announcement from Google during Donald Trump's time that they were banning the sanctions
against China.
Actually, I use a Huawei phone, right? Within everybody that was on that phone received a message that Huawei was working on another system.
Yeah.
Actually, today, if you buy a Huawei phone, do you know what happens? They have their own app store.
Yeah.
It is up to you to either subscribe to their store or not. So you don't need to go on what they call it, Play Store or what they call Apple Store that is controlled by the US to be able to get any app you want on the phone. You go on a China-made store and everything. So if I am, let's say, I'm a distributor of, let's say, music, and I want my music or I want my product or my services to be like, let's say, TikTok. I want it to be downloaded on phones that are not manufactured in the West. It is up to me to subscribe to their store. And that is exactly what is happening. So the issue of being independent,
we are too dependent on them. Yeah, and that's why they. In life, if you are too dependent on somebody, the person can just treat you anyway.
The Russian foreign minister was saying, look, Russia is going to do everything it can and its power and within its will to rely on the West as minimal as they can. Even they have to cut the West off, they are ready to do it. Actually, for me, this is a new dynamics.
Well, a new world order. What do you think? Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 25 minutes to the top of the hour. It is a Thursday edition of the morning show. I'm Archie with Mr. Frank Davis here. We've had Felix, we've had Kofi. If you want to add your voice to the discussion, why not? Call in.
I think Felix wanted to say something.
Yeah. Okay. No, he's not on.
Okay.
So now, if you want to say anything, feel free and just call in, and we'll give you the opportunity to do so. But now let's move on to Ghana, because we've got just a short time to run up the program. Now, this ruling by the Supreme Court. Now, let me read that out to you. The Supreme Court rules that deputy speakers can vote whilst presiding. The minority caucus strongly disagree with the ruling. Court ruling strikes out position of Parliament as standing orders. That's the Parliament standing orders. The court has ruled against that. Now, the Supreme Court on Wednesday, March 9th, delivered a ruling that affirmed that a deputy speaker of Parliament retains their vote even when they are presiding over the House. A 7-member panel of the Apex Court via a unanimous decision handed down the ruling, which also declared parts of Parliament's standing orders as unconstitutional. Now, the justices who sat on the issues, according to the website that I'm looking at, I don't want to put their names because their names doesn't matter to me. I don't know them. I don't give a hoot about them. But this is the decision that they've come to. So, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, is at the moment in Dubai for his health issues there. And then we have Joe Weiss, who is the first deputy, who is sitting in. So as a referee, it would be nice that when we are playing the football, I support Kotoko. Okay, so Has and Kotoko, and then I make sure that when it's time for Kotoko to score, maybe I can run with the and help kick the ball in. Now, it doesn't make any sense to you.
Actually, let me even help you on that football analogy. This is a football that is being played, and you are the referee. Now, time, instead of going extra time, you say let's declare penalty, and you are the key penalty taker for.
Now you brought it home. You brought it home. That I'm going to take.
Actually,
wow.
I've been following politics for quite some time now. What we are witnessing in Ghana is pure politics, no consideration of anything, You say, okay, let's kill you. Then let's find a reason to justify why we kill you. That's exactly what is happening. Akufo-Addo himself, one of the key principles he has in life is that you have to have control of levers of decision-making process. Archie, before I even come to before I make comments on the decision, let me give you. Do you know how many we are in Ghana? We are less than 40 million.
Yeah.
US, do you know how many they are?
Well, like 250.
They are about almost 400 million.
400 million.
Right? They are about 350 something million. Do you know how many Supreme Court judges they do have?
Our people are more criminal than that.
Okay. Do you know how many Supreme Court judges they have? They have 9 Supreme Court judges. 9. I think 9 or 11.
Yeah.
9 Supreme Court judges. Okay, Archie. Currently, in the UK over here, do you think we have more than 10 Supreme Court judges?
No, I don't.
The Speaker of UK Parliament, is he a Labour member?
Yeah,
he's a Labour member. He might not have constituency.
Yeah,
he might not, because he didn't contest again. Right? Okay. Did he contest? I think he did. I'm gonna find that out. But he doesn't vote.
He doesn't vote.
He doesn't vote. Okay. If you take Ghana Parliament, Ghana Supreme Court, we have 18 Supreme Court judges now. Okay? 18 Supreme Court judges. Some have retired. Let me give you the current. Kwesi Anim-Yeboah was appointed 2008 by Kufuor. Julius Sansan 2004 by Kufuor. Jones Doche, my father-in-law, 2008 by Kufuor. Paul Bafo-Boni by Kufuor. Now, President Mills appointed Snil Suleiman Egbadegbe, and then Alfred Anthony Benning. Mahama appointed Yao Apau. That's 2015, and Gabriel Poma in 2015. Guess how many Akufo-Addo has appointed? Not just take a wild guess.
6 or more.
Akufo-Addo alone has appointed judges more than the entire Supreme Court judges in USA. Akufo-Addo has appointed 10 Supreme Court judges. Okay? 10 Supreme Court judges, bringing the number from around 9 to 18. Okay? It will be 19, but one has retired. To 18 number. And everything they are doing now is to bastardize the laws and the constitution of Ghana. Archie, the constitution makes it clear that a referee cannot be a partaker in the penalty taking. Right? The constitution also makes it clear that where there's conflict, we must seek to avoid it. Right? The laws are clear in our constitution. The standing orders of parliament are not subject to judicial maneuvering, interpretation whatsoever. We got 4 states of running the country. We have the media. The legislature is a body itself. Supreme Court cannot, and in fact, an earlier ruling by the Supreme Court said the parliament itself is a law unto itself, and they regulated. It's a self-regulatory body. What has changed? The same Supreme Court. On one hand, it's a self-regulatory. You have 2 shoes. One, they are saying that you must, on the left leg, the shoe itself must lace itself, the boot must lace itself. On the other hand, Supreme Court says that an external forces
have to lace it.
Does it make sense?
Frank, just hold on. I think Kofi wants to chip in quickly, and then we can come back to you. Kofi?
Hello?
Yes.
You see, anytime you make comparison, with all due respect, between the US and Ghana, it's like you are comparing a mouse with a horse.
What is Kofi talking
about? Okay, you go on. Yeah, go on.
I have a problem with this because, I started by saying 2 people. And so, because they are all called country and because
remember that,
they are not the same. We are talking about 27 million people of Ghana, which Frank rightly said, with 350 million and some of their states. Now, by the federal structure of America, each state is independent on its own. And therefore, it's like Germany.
the federal, you understand, may have its equivalent of the position. The state may have equivalent of the position we are talking about. Normally, people don't count that one. They then look at the federal one, which are to deal with some simple things, and therefore they are very few. And then you are comparing that. That is not an excuse that in Ghana.
Now, Kofi, you are getting it wrong. Kofi, let's set the record straight. There's only one Supreme Court in the United States of America. There's only one Supreme Court in the United States of America. In this country, hold on. In this country, the highest court of the land is the Supreme Court, and there can never be a federal Supreme Court or whatever Supreme Court. There's nothing like that.
Don't compare Ghana with this country, with all due respect.
Why not?
In this country, the Queen, who is the head of state, choose all the members of the Supreme Court. In fact,
look. What we are saying over here.
The members of House of Lords, be patient with me. The members of House of Lords were the appellate court. It is recently when the idea of...
So you are talking an court of... I mean, you are bringing them as an court of appeal.
Yeah.
We're talking of a Supreme Court, the final interpreter.
And I'm telling you, in this country, unlike America, United States, they don't have any Supreme Court.
Oh, they have Supreme Court. Which country doesn't have Supreme Court? America or here?
It is now that they are trying to fish
out.
They have Supreme Court. Biden just
which country doesn't have Supreme Court? Which country?
Now, in Ghana, when we appoint our Supreme Court judges, they go to Parliament for approval.
Okay, wait, Kofi, wait. Which country?
Have you ever seen them being vetted as members of Supreme Court?
Which country does not have? Which country does not have Supreme Court?
You see,
no,
he's driving, so I think he's missing some of the things that we are saying.
Kofi, let me.
Let us. You see, we are going into an area where we'll be disagreeing.
No, Kofi, let's get some. No, we're educating. We're doing a bit of education here as well. Which country does not have Supreme Court?
And I'm telling you, this is a kingdom. Ghana is not a kingdom, for God's sake.
Okay, so Kofi, thank you. Kofi, thank you. Because what we're trying to do was like we take the US, we take the UK, and we look at the Supreme Court. We say, we say how many Supreme Court judges as 350 people? How many Supreme Court judges have they got?
Ghana, and I started by telling you, it's like comparing a horse.
So that why is it that the mouse has to appoint lots of Supreme Court judges? That's what we're coming from.
Okay, let me just proceed.
Thank you.
Okay, let me just put on record. It is not true.
Thank you.
It is not true. It is not true.
Thank you.
It is never true. It is never true that.
No, Kofi, hold on. Frank is saying something. Let me finish with Frank.
It is never true that UK does not have a Supreme Court. They do have.
You remember the Brexit?
Different topic. Why don't we come another day and discuss that one? It's not an issue.
Kofi.
They have or they don't have.
Okay, so Archie, what I'm trying to say over here is that look, our judicial system in Ghana now is a threat to democracy. It's a threat to the business environment, and as an individual, I should be concerned. You see this Ukraine crisis. If you look at the visa system that is yesterday there was a question on the floor of Parliament. There was an issue about they're going to change the virtual visa application system where if you have a Ukrainian passport you could apply without necessarily going to what they call it an appointment center. Now there was an issue whether people with Ukrainian ID cards who apply, they say no, because ID cards and passports are not being rated the same. The same court in Ghana told us that the source documents of our passport is null and void, and what is the most important document is the ID card that we have. Are you getting me?
If you can't teach them, confuse them.
Are you getting me? It is the same court. It is the same court that has not told us that look, the tested convention practice globally that you cannot be a prosecutor, a judge, at the same time a juror or whatever they call it, is telling us today that you can be it. Look, Archie, all I can say is that, look, they can have their way, but the floor of Parliament, let the defenders of Ghana's constitution rise up. It is the same Supreme Court that told us that they prefer to use Black Law Dictionary or whatever, Black Shaw, whatever dictionary, the interpretation in those laws rather than what is enshrined in our constitution. They are a threat to our constitution.
Wow.
No.
So you say that the judiciary now is a threat?
The judiciary is a threat. In fact, they are conducting a legal coup against our constitution. And for me, anyone who can resist it, you have my backing.
Well, yesterday, once I was at home, I was doing some work, and I started singing the Ghana national anthem, and I was just going through the lyrics, and I was like, resist oppressors' rule.
That is it. The judiciary is becoming oppressors.
Can Kofi Ali come in?
Okay, Kofi, quickly, yeah.
You see, when we are mixing things up, when we are not careful, the real thing will be missing. Where we started from is the contention about the judgment that come out of the Supreme Court, or the contention is the number of the judges we have in the Supreme Court. If the contention where Frank started, where he was comparing US with Ghana, and I say I don't think it's the best way to look at this issue, but that is an opinion, and this is my opinion. What I think we should have been doing now, talking about now, it is about the number. Who instruct us to have uncapped number of judges? And we show, let us check. Because all of us, whether it's a Supreme Court or not Supreme Court, we all work by the Parliament, the Constitution of Ghana. The Constitution of Ghana, at the time it was written, maybe this never was envisaged, that there will come a time the Supreme Court will be partisan, the Supreme Court will be filled with cronies, people who don't know their left from their right, and the number will be going too high, because the more the judges you have at the Supreme Court level, apart from their partisan issue, the more the burden you put on the taxpayer, because the Supreme Court judges are paid by the taxpayer. So are we comfortable with this? If we are not, we can go back to our constitution and look at what can be amended and how can we do the amendment without necessarily changing the whole constitution if this is an issue. And there is a procedure to do that. That is not what we are talking about here. What we are talking about is the number is high. But we've left the thing without a cap. That said, I think this Supreme Court is becoming partisan. Very, very uncomfortable. Now, let's do something. And I do not probably limit my consent to the Supreme Court. Everything in Ghana is politicized, and sad the Supreme Court is part of it. Now, look at something. There is what we call the principles of separation of power, check and balance, in democratic system of government that make it different from what monarchical or dictatorship. In a democratic system of government, you separate the three compartments of government, because power corrupt and absolute power corrupt. If you concentrate power in the hand of a group of people, and they are the only people who are too powerful, like we are struggling with the executive arm, you have a problem. So the constitution, as we agreed, the Republican Constitution that we just made, is that Parliament will be different from the executive, independent, and they all will be independent in their own business from the judiciary, and judiciary will be independent of them. When the case was taken to the Supreme Court recently, the Supreme Court itself says the rules by which they are going to come up with judgment and how the case will be done will only be by the rule made by the Supreme Court itself. That exactly they accepted, and so Parliament is not going to make the law on how the Supreme Court will go about the judgment on this last election contention, and the executive will not. That's exactly what the Constitution says. Now, the same Constitution says when there's a crisis or a challenge within the Parliament, it's only the Parliament that must resolve its own problem. Then we have a contention in Parliament as regards the procedure of parliamentary activities. The Constitution said somewhere that there shall be a speaker who shall not have a vote, like a referee who will be officiating a match will not have a vote on the decision made under his supervision and his management. Then the same constitution there said we, in the absence, we should have a deputy speaker and maybe third deputy speaker for convenience. In case one is not there, another one will step in. When the other one steps in, he has the full power, whether it's deputy or third deputy, second deputy. He has the full power of the speaker at the time the speaker is not in. It's like the president who is not at home and his vice steps in as per our constitution. That vice president becomes the head of state and the commander-in-chief, and all the military officers will take instruction from him.
Yeah.
It's the same thing here. So, if we have contention within parliament, and parliamentary rule as it is, has not been able to deal with this kind of problem, probably we never had it before, and the problem has come up, it is that parliament that must sit down and adjust their own laws as they must to come up with a way forward. It is not the business of any judge, and I repeat, anybody from outside parliament, any institution from outside parliament, to go in and decide how the business of parliament must be run.
Okay.
And this is exactly what the Supreme Court did.
Okay.
We don't blame that nasty Supreme Court. Most of them are not lawyers. You think because a person is appointed to go to Supreme Court, so he knows law. No.
Okay, let's run up quickly. Let's run up quickly.
Most of them are from the magistrate court. You know magistrate court?
Yeah,
you
they don't necessarily have to be
legal background to be a magistrate judge.
Yeah.
Any fool can be a magistrate judge as long as you are having respect of the community and you can be able to command and organize people and look at issues without bias. You understand?
Yeah.
There are people who work with you and advise you on what you do. There is an advert going on right now on that in this country that you don't need those qualifications. However, if you have a legal background, it helps. Can you see? So we should not think these people are some law gurus. They are that than the fee itself.
Okay.
So let us first get that straight.
Okay.
And then let us understand they may not know what they are doing. And you don't need to have a legal background to be a member of Ghana Parliament. Any fool can go to Parliament as long as people vote for you. You don't need to have a legal background to be a president of Ghana. Akua Donko is even appealing for one.
Okay.
So we want our people, let us wake up and let us be savvy. When we say the Constitution has given us the right to resist oppressor's rule, the Constitution didn't give us a right to take up weapons and be lawless. You understand? The Constitution told us in a civil manner, especially when we have the power to use the ballot paper box and change criminals, because we have really the people we have there now are something else.
Okay, Kofi, we have to go.
Violence and unconstitutional means is not the way too wrong that you can't use what is wrong. The child is misbehaving, so I want to correct the child and I use a gun to shoot him.
Okay.
You don't use what is wrong to correct what is wrong.
Okay.
Let us use the right tools to address the problem of what is wrong.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kofi. Thank you very much. Listeners, that was the voice of Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul-Yakin adding his voice to the discussions. Now, let's quickly hop to another issue that I really wanted to touch on. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Mr. Godfrey Yeboah-Dame, has recommended the annulment of the 2020 parliamentary election in the Buem constituency to enable fresh ballots. So there's so much going on. Now, it wasn't the contestant of that election in that particular constituency who said that, hey, stop the people from voting. They didn't say anything.
Yeah.
It was the referee once again who decided to annul that. And then today, the Attorney General, government's own brains when it comes to law, saying this. So I'm asking myself, what is going on?
Archie, what you should now see is that they want to have their way. And that is why attempts, everyone, we should all be rising up against what is going on. Historically, they are playing on a very dangerous ground because the people of Buem and the people of Akpafu, Lulugbe,
Lepe
have never been under one local authority. Look, there was a time in the 1980s where, I mean, he himself, as the Attorney General, I doubt if he has traveled to that, if he's traveled down that area before. Geographically, right? You have the Buem, and in between the Buems, there's this Akpafu town called Adoko. Two Adokos town, that interface between where Kofi Adams come from, Tetema, and then Old Baika. Now, Old Baika were the original settlers. The Baikans, the Buem were the original settlers. Their land even extended all the way to Hokwe. So they gave out those lands, and that is why you have the Likpes, Mpasim, and Kumasi settling between the Baikans and the Hokwes, because they didn't have any place, so they gave them those lands.
Okay.
And then you have the Adokos at the Akpafu, who were on the other side of the Akwapim Togo range, coming because they needed, it's like family. They also needed a place to stay, so they came and they were given land over here. So there was a time where locally old biker and new biker used to participate in sports activities with Ayoma, Kute, who are part of Buem, with Lekwe, Abrani, Kokratmi, and all those areas. They came to them, Buem said they wanted to be together, right?
Okay.
They wanted to be together. So even though Baika is in between two Hawkware district towns, so you see, this is town A, there's new Baika, there's old Baika, then after old Baika, there's Adoko. There's one Adoko, there's a Akpafu town called Adoko. That town is recognized by Hawkware. Okay, they do everything Hawkware. So when demarcation came in, this constitution came in, the south area was never part of Buem district, a Buem constituency. It has never been part. It will never be part. They should forget it. It's not going to happen.
But so what they are doing is it just to move the distance so that they can have the,
because there's pressure on them. You are taking taxes from the people. You have not done anything to get a parliamentarian, because the constitution says we must all have representatives. In any case, who called for those people not to vote parliamentary election? Because they were supposed to be part of Hawkware constituency when the Guan constituency they are talking about has not been created. Right? And indeed, there's an instrument in parliament that makes, told or asked the electoral commission to create a constituency over there. Now, on what basis is it going to annul Buem elections? On what basis is it going to annul Buem elections?
So they hold a fresh one, so that they can manipulate.
No, why?
Now. So they can get Kofi Adams out.
No, they can't get Kofi Adams out in whichever way they look at. What they want to do is not to give another seat.
Oh, okay. An extra seat that will boost the numbers.
They cannot get Kofi Adams out in that area under no circumstances.
That will boost the numbers.
So all they want to do, because they go to hold a fresh, and in fact, I dare say, if the SAR area has participated in that December 2020 election, there was no way Peter Amewu would have won that seat.
Yeah, I think that was why they stopped.
The candidate came from that Central Kofi, which is part of that area. And traditionally, because of Bedia Samuel and all those things, the Akpafu areas have been traditionally heavily NDC. If you look at Akpafu area, just like the way you have Aflau, some of them, you go to Kute, for instance, you can actually go to Bena River, cross, and you are in Togo. So it's like they don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
So it's strategically not to add a number to the already existing seat. That's why they will never. They're going to play Dylan Danove until 2024. And even at that 2024, what they're planning to do is again demarcate a lot of constituencies in Ashanti and Eastern.
To create more constituencies there.
And that is why, just as we've seen in Supreme Court,
honestly,
we need to put a cap on even the number of seats, because we cannot continue to be wasting money on Article 71 office holders and all these MPs whilst the country suffers. I get me. Archie, I can tell you, they cannot get Kofi Adam out. And if they do what they are doing, they're starting a war within that, and it's never going to happen.
Okay.
They what they call it, the chief of Bwim will never accept that.
Okay. The chief of Bwim will not accept that. It's 3 minutes past 1. We're supposed to bring the program to a close, but Kofi has come on. So Kofi, 1 minute. 1 proper minute. Okay.
1 minute.
Yes, go on.
I feel, you see, I live in the United Kingdom. And my heart aches when I hear people analyzing and discussing problem and solution to political issues in the modern day Ghana on tribal and ethnic lines. I feel sick. See, a constituency is created not because there are some tribal people there or some one chief there or some one village. It's created based on population of the area. That is the constitution we all have. And Ghana government collects tax from every Ghanaian, not some tribal people. And nobody can, if you are born somewhere and you travel to another place, you say you come from there. Where you are born is where you come from. This issue of the ancient and the distant, we shouldn't do it. It's not helpful. Right now, what we are having in this discussion is that some people, a constituency was not properly identified, and EC didn't do that. I think we should rather look at what happened at the time. What the constitution was, a constituency was created. When you create constituency, what was created and what are the people, the number of people? And there are certain yardstick for which you create constituency. So if a political party has got to stand behind some chief somewhere, and that one has become so big and so arrogant, and he's saying his people will do this and that, I don't think a country, a modern country...
Kofi, you need to, sometimes when you deal with certain issues, you need to understand the historical background of what you are dealing with.
There is no,
my brother. No, Kofi, hold on. Kofi, hold on. Kofi, that is to him. That is to him. You see, when that is why Kofi, stop what you're doing, because sometimes you play down certain sensitive issues. When you're talking about Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, you cannot rule out what historically plays out over there. You can't rule it out. You see, Russia, whatever we have in between Ukraine, historical factors are playing a part. And I'm telling you, Kofi, part of me, Kofi, let me be honest, part of me hail from that area. And I know exactly what I'm talking about.
That's why I asked you, because I know that you always talk about the towns around
do
that
not
area.
play with it.
We don't see, listen to me. I agree. I think you see, we have turned the whole thing into, like
Archie,
I was saying.
Let me, Kofi, the people of Akpafu will never, Kofi, hold on. The people of Akpafu and Santo Kofi and Likwe will never travel to Jazzican to seek anything.
Okay.
This problem called a struggle with you people are bringing it up again. Well, how long are we going to be people at It was yesterday. Today we have Ghanaians.
Okay, Kofi, thank you. Kofi is a Ghanaian. He's a West African citizen as well. Thank you.
Moving forward. We are going to space. You are talking about going to the next village.
Okay, thank you very much, Kofi. Thank you very, very much. Well, listeners, I think that discussion is quite an interesting one. I think tomorrow when we have time, we'll have to have a detailed look at it, because you cannot disenfranchise people, and then the next moment, those who have been who are given opportunity to go and vote as well. Now you tell them that, okay, now we have to rerun the whole thing. Why? Because you want to cut and paste. You want to appease maybe your masters or whatever it is. But I would love to hear from you. Yes, we would love to hear from you. But this program tomorrow morning will be back on. This afternoon exactly at 6 o'clock we'll be bringing you the BB Means Business, a repeat version of what took place last Tuesday, quite an interesting one. And then at 7 o'clock we'll be having KB Bossman Vicky Newton bringing you the Property Hour. But before we go, Frank,
Archie, interesting developments are coming up in the next few days in Ghana's parliament, which you'll watch out, including a full investigation that will be open into who actually participated in parliament as Adwasafo. So all those things are heating up and coming, and it's good, because if it is found out that criminally someone impersonated it, I mean,
impersonation, that's a serious crime.
That's it. It means that whatever bill was passed on that day
should be
null and void, and those who facilitated it
We have to be prosecuted as well.
So watch out what is Ghana.
Oh man,
Ghana is going to be good.
Okay, listeners, we want to salute you all, but continue to keep your dials logged on Star Radio UK. You know what? We bring you the best in everything: news, views, interviews, what have you, and of course, music going to be coming your way this afternoon. So stay tuned. Don't you go away. We'll still be broadcasting live on our platform. That is our apps. Yeah. Or if you're on Google or whatever you listen to us from, tune in, we'll be there as well. Okay, so on that note, I say have a top of the day and see you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful time. Bye.
The problem of Africa is the elite. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is the elite. Who run things, who run things, who run things. Them all go to universities. Universities award them degrees. Big degrees. Degrees. Big degrees. MSc in stealing. Bachelor of Arts, mismanagement.